Welcome back to the End of the Internet podcast. I'm your host, Gonzalo, and if you found us, well, congratulations. You've made your way to the end of the internet. On today's episode, Marcus and I decided to do a deep dive into Marvel's cinematic history, but we will not be covering the MCU proper in this particular episode. We decided to look back fondly and discuss some of our favorite and least favorite moments from all of the pre-MCU Marvel films, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Blade, X-Men, Punisher, a handful of other things that came into mind. We were going to break this up into 3 episodes and do non-MCU, Fox, and then MCU proper, but we just kind of rolled X-Men into this particular conversation. We will be doing a Spider-Man centric episode later on in the summer, closer to when Far From Home comes out. So this episode is all about X-Men and pre-MCU Marvel films. We had a really good time recording it, a lot of laughs and a lot of forgotten moments that bubbled to the surface. We will be covering the MCU in our next episode, and hopefully we'll drop 2 episodes this week. Work and life just kind of got in the way, so I didn't have a chance to upload this last week like I had intended to, so I apologize, but thank you guys for sticking around. The episodes are both kind of lengthy, but they're fun, and we had a great time recording them. Like, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for listening, and without further delay, here's our discussion on the pre-MCU Marvel films, including the X-Men. We'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, so on today's episode, we decided to take a trip down sweaty memory lane, and we are going to discuss, in anticipation, I guess, the build-up, the excitement for Avengers Endgame, which is going to be a massive movie, and it's a massive spectacle. Everything that everybody said about Infinity War, times 2, right? Like,
you're calling it now, it's going to be trash. I'm just kidding.
That'd be amazing. I would love if the movie was fucking garbage. Oh my god. That would, like, and we're just standing there like talking with
the
sock
hate,
puppets or
the
something.
The hate in your heart is like, I would love that.
It's an 11-year troll to like the most like successful piece of shit ever. Oh my god, I would love that.
That would be funny.
Some world that anyway, so in the lead up to Endgame, we were talking about what we would like to discuss and if we would want to cover the MCU, if we wanted to talk about comic movies, particularly the Marvel side of things. And we thought that it would be, at the very least, fun and maybe even interesting to discuss the outside of MCU Marvel movies that have come out. So we're talking about all of the movies that came out before MCU started proper with Iron Man, and all of the like Marvel adjacent, so Sony, Fox, so Spider-Man, X-Men, things like that. So we're just gonna kind of have a discussion.
Yeah.
Go over, these movies that we love or hate or whatever, before we get into the MCU retrospective proper.
Yeah,
so.
That's as much as I'm excited to talk about the MCU proper and their little retrospective. I'm really excited to talk about kind of the shit show that was Marvel movies before they,
These are the movies that we like defended so completely because we got like one every 4 years or so. And it's like, did you hear they're making a new Punisher movie? Like, I cannot believe John Travolta's going to be in it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Now it's legitimate.
Like, I remember, have you ever defended somebody in your family to like a friend where you're like, no, they're not really like that. Like, they're better. Like, I remember doing that a lot with Daredevil. Like, I really defended, I really forced myself to like lie through my teeth for Daredevil, and like,
dude, Daredevil, when I walked out of the theater, I had seen it with an old friend of mine, and I turned to him and I was like, dude, that's the best comic book movie ever.
Oh my god.
Like, he never let me forget that I had said that out loud. And that's at the time.
I'm glad you didn't put that on social media where that would haunt you. It's like, hey, you remember like 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
An old tweet that somebody digs up. It's like, oh, he really thought Daredevil was the
best comic book movie ever.
I was a big, I've always been a huge Daredevil fan. And I like Ben Affleck. I really like Kevin Smith. And what's his name? The guy that played the Kingpin in that?
Michael Clark Duncan?
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
I thought he was a very inspired choice to play the Kingpin.
Without
CGI.
Yeah.
Like, he's huge. And I like him. He's very charismatic.
I like his voice.
Jon Favreau as Foggy Nelson was, I thought, at the very least interesting. But I like Jon Favreau. I love Swingers.
Happy before he was happy.
Long before he was happy.
long before he was happy.
Yeah, I remember
I thought Electro was an interesting choice. What's your name, Jennifer Gardner? Yeah, I was like, I can see it.
And also, like, a lot of people give Bullseye, like, they think, what's his name? Colin Farrell.
Yeah. That
he was a terrible choice for Bullseye. But, I mean, again, it's kind of with the Mandarin thing, like, whose favorite character is fucking Bullseye, Yeah. I think a lot of work has gone into that character since the movie came out to justify him being there. And I think what Frank Miller did with the character was interesting, but he's kind of just a plot device, sort of.
Yeah.
Almost like Elektra.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there was a lot of plot devices.
Yeah, they were almost archetypes, maybe. I like Bullseye. I think he was okay. But in the movie, at least he was something. He had, like, that scar of the bullseye on his forehead, and he had his Dublin accent, I think it's such a weird kind of, like...
The only problem that I had with Bullseye, again, not giving a shit about the comic book version of Bullseye. Like, I like the way he fights Daredevil, and I like the idea of him, but... not married to anything from the comic book. I think the only problem I had with Bullseye in the movie was his, like, weird snarls, like, like the roasting on his forehead. I was like, okay, you're trying a little too much. If you would have toned that down, I think it would have been a little bit better. I kind of
feel like that Bullseye's in a different movie.
Yeah,
he's in a different movie.
He's in a way different movie.
Yeah, he's in a movie that should have been seen, I think. Like, the dull kind of PG version of the Daredevil mythos is really hard to swallow, and he's not in that movie.
Yeah,
like, he is in the when
I'm gonna make my own movie, guys.
Yeah, when like Daredevil was like a smiley swashbuckler and went to France and all this shit in the comics, and this Daredevil was like Frank Miller's Daredevil, or Bullseye. Bullseye was Frank Miller's Bullseye. It's kind of, why is he here?
Yeah,
he's really violent.
You're throwing this all off.
Yeah, it's a little intense.
More peanuts, please.
And I really hated the one thing out of all the things to hate the most out of that movie.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
The script, they flipped one of Frank Miller's famous lines because Daredevil was known as the Man Without Fear. And I think it's the end of the second issue of the Born Again arc, I think Matt is thinking to himself, he's like, a man without hope is a man without fear. And I was like, oh God, Frank, perfect,
Yeah.
But in the movie, like, some priest tells Matt, like, a man without fear is a man without hope. Or something, and like reverses it, and I was like, oh,
it really,
shut up. I don't know why that really bothered me, but
I remember, and I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Ben, how do you say his last name? Uric.
Uric. Ben Uric.
I like that actor, and I can't remember. It's like Joe something.
Yeah,
Joe
it's very Italian.
Yeah.
He's Cypher from Matrix.
Yeah.
And a million of
when I heard, I was like, oh man, it's going to be really cool. And like, man, fucking Ben was such a throwaway character.
I don't know why they gave him that backwards beret. Like,
it was so annoying.
They made him have to wear that, and it was terrible.
They should have gave him a soul patch too while they're at it.
Like, might as well.
Like, Jesus.
And of course, Daredevil had they had it all, right? Daredevil even had the like gasoline emblem on the floor. Yeah, they did the crow
scene. Mm-hmm. That was awful.
Which Thomas Jane also did.
Yes, he did. I was like, what was that?
Batman even did it in Dark Knight Rises.
Hey, whoa. Hey.
I think it's really cool in Dark Knight Rises.
I think it's really awesome because how else am I going to
I'm a Dark Knight Rising apologist. So
you are, and I am not. But it's not.
We were talking
awful.
About so I think
let's talk more about Batman.
Right? Just start talking about Batman again. Something that really I think stands out as horrible in Daredevil is the like seesaw fight, the playground fight between Elektra and Daredevil. Or Matt.
That's so awful. What were they thinking?
I keep saying Daredevil, and I can't refer to him as Matt, but when I talk about the Netflix show, I talk about Matt because he's a whole fucking character.
He's a complete.
In that movie, he's just Daredevil. If that makes sense. He's kind of a costume,
Let's talk about the costume.
Oh, God, dude. I've heard a lot of shit about well, watch the director's cut. It's much better. And it's like, I've seen it, and it makes it a little better.
What, the director's cut of Daredevil?
Yeah, there's a director's cut of Daredevil that you can find on DVD or Blu-ray.
What on earth do they add in there that makes it better?
I can't even remember what exactly. I think it's more like pacing issues that make it flow a little bit better. Kind of like the extended BVS. Like, I don't think Dawn of Justice is a great movie, but the extended kind of makes that movie flow better. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't feel as long. It's weird. It's longer, but it doesn't feel as long because it's better edited.
Yeah.
Same with this Daredevil. But I haven't seen it in a really long time, so I'm sure there are essays and stuff that you can find that talk about it being a better
Who is
movie.
writing essays about Daredevil?
How many people write essays about Daredevil? It's fucking Daredevil. He's a great character.
Matt
Murdock is a great character.
Yes,
so.
but not. I'm talking about like Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I would love to read
Mark Steven
a 1,000-word essay on Daredevil proper, but not
the Fox movie,
but not Ben Affleck's fucking Daredevil. I don't need to read anything about that. Maybe like what went wrong with that. I'll read that.
Yeah, I think Mark Steven Johnson was the director, and he had done Simon Birch, and that's everybody was like, "Oh, the guy that did Simon Birch." And I was like, "That movie's terrible."
I don't even know what that is. I know I've seen the title to that. It's like the title card of that. I don't know what that is, but so that costume was fucking awful.
I remember they talking about it too. Like I watched the behind the scenes, and they talked about how they wanted to make it more like biker gear.
Yeah,
like a motorcycle
fucking
riders gear. Yeah, and it like when you see that and you know that, oh, that is what it looks like. It looks like
the zipper thing with a DD on the like a little.
Why is the zipper so prominent? Like, why does it look like you could just unzip his chest?
Yeah, it looks like he makes one spin move and his like top unzips. It's like, oh man.
And then he had the little DD in the corner,
which is so dumb. But I guess it would be dumber to have a big DD in the middle of the zipper,
Yeah,
so,
I guess it would look awkward.
I don't know. That whole thing, it just looked, and he moves so funny. Like, if there's one thing that I take away from that entire movie, it was Ben Affleck's movement as Daredevil. So stiff. Like, I'll never forget, I almost spit my Coke out watching it, is when Bullseye is on the motorcycle and he kills Elektra's dad, and Ben Affleck comes and he like jumps into the scene, and instead of doing like a cool Daredevil jump in, like not Spider-Man pose, but just kind of
like a superhero pose.
Yeah, he like jumps in and stands straight up like a beanstalk.
Dude, he looks weird,
and
right?
he looks so goofy. It was like, wow.
He like leans back and he puts his pelvis out.
Yeah, it's like look at my dick.
Yeah, he looks weird.
It's very weird.
But maybe because he
couldn't move.
Seen himself in the mirror, so he
can't see. Yeah, he can't see. He doesn't
Matt Murdock thought that was like a power move. It's like star posing, But he didn't get it because he's never seen it.
He might as well put his fucking hands on his waist the way he was standing.
Yeah, it was
really
almost
bad.
like there are parts in that movie that are almost embarrassing. Like you feel embarrassed for what you're watching. You're like,
there's a lot of that movie. Elektra fighting the sandbags to Evanescence, like wake me up inside.
Oh my god!
Like that. I love watching like Everything Wrong With and like people dissecting that. I was like, who's launching these sandbags? Like, are they on a timer? Like that shit makes me laugh. And then at the very end, the one with the really bad Daredevil, like the devil drawing on it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, come on.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
That was awful.
Oh god, dude, jeez. Just reminded me of that.
And then Elektra in her dumb outfit.
I love Colin Farrell a lot. Like, I think he's a fantastic actor.
I've seen a sex tape.
I really like. He has a sex tape.
He has a sex tape. Ugh. Yeah. It's...
Well, I edited that out.
No, leave that in there. Colin Farrell has a sex tape. It's pretty awesome. My man does work.
God. Well, I really like the delivery of the line, "More peanuts, please."
Yeah.
It really cracks me up.
Please.
So that movie was a big bust. He does a thing where he at the end of the movie, he jumps off of the building and he refers to himself as a guardian devil, harkening to like Kevin Smith's run, and he does the pose from that Joe Quesada had drawn on the cover of DD #1, and I thought that was really cool. There's a lot of like homages and little Easter eggs for fans. Kevin Smith plays like a coroner or something.
Yeah.
It seems like it's so cool and it's so referential, but that's when people talk about shitty fan service. Watch Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's rife with that stuff.
It makes me like, don't get me wrong, I know that we have the Netflix Daredevil series, and I will never fucking take that away. That thing is fantastic. Season 2 was alright. I liked it, but it wasn't as good as Season 1. Season 1 was fucking Homer out the park. It was great.
I dare say it's perfect.
I dare say it's perfect too.
Perfect 13 episodes.
But it makes me like thinking about what could have been with that movie, and I know it was an awkward time for superhero movies, and the 90s was a thing, it was
late 90s, right?
Right, I think it was.
No, it was after.
Was it 2000? Was it a 2000 movie?
It was after Spider-Man.
Oh,
yeah, I think it was like 2003.
Well, it feels like a 90s movie,
right? It does. Like when you think about it, it feels like there's no way that it's after Blade, right? You think that no way it's after Blade.
Fucking no. Well, my point is, it makes me like I would like to see a big budget Daredevil movie. Like if Marvel could give the same type of love that they did with, you know, Sony, Spider-Man, Homecoming, all that shit. If you were to do the same kind of thing with Daredevil, and I'm not talking about the same, like, type of movie. I don't want a fun. I want a fucking... Give me Batman Daredevil. Like, just make that. It's like, it's dark and...
Or you just
the
do
cities...
the Bendis stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm... Yeah, even
amazing.
that. Yeah, like, you just do that. Stop fucking with this, like... Oh, well, red doesn't look cool on screen, so we went with burgundy. Like, give them a dark red. Like, it's fine. We'll be okay. Like, people will get it, you know? If that's the one thing that I can't stand about live-action comic book movies, it's that we can't have it red because it doesn't look cool.
It has to be a little bit more serious and realistic, and it leans...
Like a dark red.
It turns away from the cool aspect of comics, like superhero comics, you know.
Yeah, like a dark red is fine. Like, I mean, you don't have to be a bright red, even though Daredevil's bright fucking red, you know. But a dark red is cool. Stop giving me this burgundy, almost. It bothers me. Like, one of the things that I hate, and I know we're talking about Marvel, but like in Superman Returns, like, oh, if you just gave me a little bit of red in that, like that would look cool.
Yeah, even Man of Steel, and just like brighten that fucking suit up. You know, where's the blue and the red and the yellow? Like,
I don't mind a dark blue, but a nice red to that dark blue would look fucking sweet. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, like, it makes me want a live action, big budget Daredevil with some love in it, with some MCU magic. Like, holy shit. But, and it's like, oh, but you have that. You have that with a Netflix series. And I love it, and that's great, but sometimes I don't want to watch fucking 10 hours. I just want to watch an hour and a half, you know. Give me a nice little movie with some good fucking high budget action. And
and some of these characters maybe don't necessarily have 13 episodes in them worth of good story, you know.
No, I agree.
But I'm
Luke Cage. Everything once what's his name fucking pieced out. Spoiler alert. I was kind of done. I was like, okay. I finished it and it was good, but yeah, once Cottonmouth was out, I was like, okay, I'm all right. We don't need to keep going.
Yeah. So Daredevil, I think around the same time was the Thomas Jane Punisher movie, and which at the time I remember watching it and thinking, how are you going to do this, right? How are you going to pull from the Welcome Back Frank arc, you know, that Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon did for Marvel Knights?
Yeah.
And it be PG-13. I wasn't sure how they were going to be able to pull that off. I like Thomas Jane a lot, but what I wanted to see was a Tim Bradstreet cover brought to life.
Yeah.
And we guess not going to happen.
We did not get that whatsoever. Holy shit.
And then I rewatched the Dolph Lundgren Punisher recently, and
never seen it.
Pretty good little Punisher. I don't know. It's kind of like when we had.
Doesn't he fight the Yakuza in that or some shit?
Yeah. He has to like team up with the Italian mob. And
interesting.
It's like a crazy little movie, but you know he fucking kills everybody, and he's like this.
He's a Punisher?
Samurai that lives in the sewer. I don't know. It was
what the fuck.
It was kind of accurate. I don't know. There was something about it that was like, well, it was just the Punisher. You know, he's a big fucking dude, and he goes around and just kills a bunch of people. And what does he do on his off time? He gets ready to kill more people.
He gets ready to kill more people.
It's pretty great. It used to not be my cup of tea, but now watching it, it's kind of like, this is a weird little movie. It's worth watching. I would say it's worth watching.
Does Dolph have the black hair? Like,
yeah, his black hair.
Okay. Oh, then I might watch it. Does he ever have the skull on his chest?
No, he never.
Damn, he should have the skull.
He has these throwing knives though that have a skull on the end of it. So it's kind of.
Is it a Punisher skull or just a?
It's
skull?
like it looks almost like a Punisher skull, but it's not exactly the Punisher skull.
I'll take it. That's fine.
Although you put, and then there is Lexi Alexander's Punisher Warzone, which was out of control. Like, did you ever watch that?
No, I heard a lot. So many mixed things.
Violent, but
was it any good? Like, I mean, even in the aspect of if you just want to watch violence.
It's like when you see a really good artist or a really good filmmaker or even a good coach or whatever. It's like they will give you they won't give you what you want. You know, they won't give you what you think you want. They give you what you need. You know. And Lexi Alexander gave me what I thought I wanted, which was a Tim Bradstreet cover come to life. I didn't need that.
Really? Okay.
So but it's worth a watch too. Like, if you're gonna have a Punisher night, like, don't watch Thomas Jane. Watch Punisher Warzone and watch the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
Because I hear that. Okay, this is what I've heard. I heard that Punisher movie Warzone is like, it's a Punisher movie. It's just not a good Punisher movie, but it's more Punisher than Thomas Jane.
Yeah, like I think. the Thomas Jane Punisher movie is a movie first, a Punisher movie second, and Warzone is a Punisher movie first, a good movie second. You know what I mean? So their priorities are they have different priorities. But what's his name? I think his name is Ray Stevenson, the guy that plays Punisher in Warzone.
He's also Thor's friend in...
Yeah, he plays
the big fat guy.
Yeah, God. Volstagg. But he is big, and he has the slick back hair. He looks dangerous. He carries a bunch of guns. He wears the skull.
He has like almost armor on too, or like body armor. That's what I like. When I saw that, I was like, oh shit. And it made me want to watch it, but I just heard a lot of different things about it.
A missile launcher or a rocket launcher that like some guy, they're like running across the rooftops, and he just like this parkour flip and just blows his ass up in the air. It's so funny and random. I think Dominic West plays Jigsaw. Yeah. And it's so disturbing. Like, that's a fucking Jigsaw. Dude.
Really?
It's like the stuff of Nightmares.
Oh,
like,
shit.
The way that they did his prosthetics. So when I saw the Punisher Netflix, I was like, oh, come on. You know, like, this is that amateur hour compared to Lexi's version.
That's the one
Jigsaw.
thing that turned me off about Punisher season 2. Like, I was really not liking what they were doing with Jigsaw, and like he still had moments where he acted like there was some really like sincere, like cool moments, but the majority of them on screen, I was just like, oh my fucking god, give it a rest already. Like I just didn't want to watch it anymore. I didn't finish it. I didn't even get close to finishing it. Like,
oh god, the ending's awesome.
Is it really? Yeah. Okay, well then maybe I'll finish it. I don't even know when I stopped. Okay, well maybe I'll finish it then.
But yeah, so I think the Dolph Lundgren Punisher has like a man on the street that, you know, he's kind of like a bum alcoholic that like feeds him information of what's going on, you know, and he like rhymes and shit. It's so weird and cool. Like, the more I think about it, the more charm that movie has.
Really?
Yeah.
We have to visit.
And then
that.
the Thomas Jane is just blah.
I think it's so blah.
So fucking blah.
And that's another movie that I was like, dude, that's a good movie. Yeah. And then I watched it again. I was like, nah, like it's a good movie.
Dude, it has Charlie Prince in it. Ben Foster is in. He plays Spacker Dave.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hall, right? Or is it Kevin Nash?
Kevin Nash.
He plays.
You're thinking Scott Hall.
Russian. Yeah.
He's the big Russian.
Yeah, and that's pulled right from Welcome Back, Frank. If you guys can hear shouting in the background, Marky just got off a ground. He's playing Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, he's going off.
He's going nuts, which is awesome to hear because he hasn't played in a while. That movie's kind of a nothing movie. And
it really is. It's so vanilla in every aspect, and they really tried very hard to make him cool.
Like, I get that it's revenge, but like the Punisher, like Frank sets up like a "you're cheating on me" arc with, you know.
Oh my god, that was awful.
It's so crazy, and
it's not a Frank move.
Yeah, the way it plays out is. It almost seems like soap opera. It almost seems ridiculous. It's just so fucking dumb.
It's cheese.
But if you were to just read that on paper, like the Punisher is able to trick Howard Saint into killing both his best friend and the love of his life. But nothing was happening, and Frank just wanted to fuck with this guy. That sounds nuts. Yeah. But seeing John Travolta play it out, you know, and like just like at one point Frank has like a fire hydrant in a backpack or something, and he puts it in front of like the henchman's car, so it gets towed.
Yeah, no, he get a ticket, so like he like
So hilarity ensues. It's such a situational comedy movie. I don't know. When I saw like Frank get out of his car and then there's that scene where he's that Johnny Cash guy, the assassin, sits in the bar and he just like
hear what you're thinking.
Like, it's so funny because like Thomas Jane is reacting like the audience is. We're all just kind of like squirming, and he's like, "What's the fucking point of this?" I really did like the Punisher car, the Punisher mobile.
Yeah. His fucking muscle car.
Yeah, and he had like the armor for the fucking windshield.
Yeah. That's brought it down. Yeah, that was very like, okay, you're thinking like the Punisher. Yeah.
And it was kind of funny when he was quote unquote torturing that guy, and he made him.
I can't stand that part. Like, but that was one of those things where
it's like a PG-13 version of the Punisher.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And I think that's why I couldn't stand it.
Disney Plus Punisher or whatever.
That is a Disney Punisher.
Whatever. And then, like, man, seeing Punisher Warzone.
So it's almost like two ends of a spectrum.
Yeah. It goes
really
way
soft
the other
Punisher,
way.
And then you got, like...
Almost like...
NC-17
What Justice League did from BVS. You know, it was, like, such a snapback. Like, it's hard to believe that they're supposed to be the same character. Yeah. If you've never read comic books, you never knew jack shit about Frank Castle, and you watched Thomas Jane's Punisher. It's like, what is this movie? Watch this. It's about a guy who's seeking revenge. Cool. And then you watch another. I'll show you another further adventures of the same guy. And you watch Warzone. You're like, this is the same fucking dude.
This dude has lost his fucking mind.
Yeah, seriously. So the Punisher movies,
Yeah, that is the
Mileage may vary.
Again, let me be very clear. I remember defending the shit out of Daredevil and The Punisher. Like, no, those are good. They're good movies. And then the more I watched them, I was like, oh. And I knew, and there was one point, I think maybe the third or fourth viewing of both movies, where I knew I was like, this is gonna come back to haunt me. Me saying these words.
Yeah, really, especially Daredevil for me. But there's always gonna be a soft spot for Daredevil because I love the character. But yeah, Punisher movies.
I bought that Daredevil soundtrack.
Did you really?
Yeah.
It was the 90s. We did all such a weird shit. Or not the 90s as we figured out.
Or the early 2000s or the late 90s. I don't know, but I bought that soundtrack
I'm
because
pretty sure it was like 2003.
I love the fucking Rob Zombie Man Without Fear. Oh my god. I'm such a fucking loser.
Dude, and that's, again, we were like kind of scraping for anything, you know? Like, there was... This was the start of something, right? Mm-hmm. Punisher and Daredevil came out and we're kind of like, is this going to be a thing now? Like, Hulk came out, Ang Lee's Hulk, which was... When I heard Sam Elliott was going to play Thunderbolt Ross, and Jennifer Connelly is going to play Betty Ross, and Eric Bana, who I had just seen in fucking... What? He was in Troy and a bunch of other things. He was going to play... Bruce Banner?
Yeah.
I was kind of into this.
Well, it was all of it was so like...
And then people were like, the guy that directed Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is going to direct a Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I'm down
for that. On paper, it sounded like the most amazing thing ever. Mm-hmm. Because I remember hearing a lot of that. Not so much the director part, but, you know, Eric Bana was going to be Bruce Banner. I was like, oh shit, that's going to be good. And what's her name... was gonna be Betty. I was like
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, I was like, I love her. I think she's gorgeous. And I was like, that she. If you would have asked me even before there was ever a movie, it was like, oh, who would you cast as Betty at that period? It'd be like, who's like beautiful and kind of sexy, but like you respect, like just you visually, you're like you wouldn't ever
a really
like
good actor.
Yeah, and I was like Jennifer Connelly. And that movie was...
Jennifer Connelly is actually more than, like, I think Betty Ross deserves.
You think so?
Like, I've never been a big Betty Ross fan.
Yeah, no, I get that, but
I'm not a big diehard Hulk fan, so I haven't seen, I guess, the best versions of that character.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ang Lee's Hulk was kind of a weird thing. Nick Nolte's in that movie.
Nick Nolte is in that movie. He's, what's his name? The fucking...
Absorbing Man?
Yeah.
Does he play Bruce's dad?
Yeah, he's Bruce's dad.
And then Joshua Lucas, is that his name? He was
I don't know
one of the bad guys. He's in American Psycho, and he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's a good kind of like role player.
You're a role player.
So I don't know why, but I always think when I think of these movies, I think Hulk, Ghost Rider, Ghost Rider. So I think of those three movies together.
Let's
right?
fucking talk about goddamn Ghost Rider. Holy shit. So I've never been a huge Nicolas Cage fan. Like the handful of movies that I like Nicolas Cage in is Leaving Las Vegas, and Leaving Las Vegas.
You don't like The Rock?
You
don't like Raising Arizona?
No, I don't. It's
you don't like Moonstruck?
Fuck no, I hate Moonstruck actually.
You don't like Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh well, see that's
2003 Daredevil. Sorry.
Nice. So 2003. That's good information. Do you no, I didn't hate Nicolas Cage at that time period, but I wasn't a big fan of his. But the more he like lost his shit, the more I was not digging him. Like he fell too much into the Nick Cage thing and became just this big fucking meme. But as soon as I found out that he was Ghost Rider, I was like, oh my god, this movie's gonna be awful. Like there was at no point did I ever think Ghost Rider was gonna be good. You know?
Another Sam Elliott.
Yep, he's
Marvel
in that one
appearance.
too. Yeah, like, he's the fucking
maybe
cowboy.
Don't cast Sam Elliott.
I think you just leave him as a cowboy in a Western movie.
Can he just be a cowboy with a really gruff voice?
Yeah. That thing was fucking awful. I remember watching that. Eli, our buddy Eli, had it on DVD, and I was like, I want to fucking watch this movie. And I remember coming home one day, I put it in there. He was working. It was just me. I was just chilling. My son was with his mom. And I sat down and I watched this fucking thing. And halfway through it, I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was bad.
Is it one of those movies that you realize that you don't have to watch a movie from start to finish?
I was like, I don't
have to watch this all the way through.
And I did though, because I was like, this has to get better, right? Like, it has to. Like, Blackheart's gonna transform or something, right? Or like, you're gonna be cool. And
Wes Bentley, right?
Yeah,
plays Blackheart.
Yes.
So mentioned before in the podcast, I played a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. My first real team was Cable, Guile, Blackheart. Or like Blackheart, Guile, Cyclops, I think. It was something like that. It was a Blackheart team with Cyclops as my anti-air assist. So I fucking love Blackheart.
Yeah.
And to see that... I didn't see the first Ghost Rider for a really long time, and someone mentioned me, and I was like, oh, is that Wes Bentley? He was supposed to be Spider-Man for a small period of time. And they're like, oh, he plays Blackheart. I'm like...
I can feel your hate.
Blackheart? Like Mephisto's kid? Like,
yeah.
They're like, oh, I don't know. His name's Blackheart in the movie.
He has like piranha teeth.
Yeah, I was like, it's Blackheart.
Yeah.
So I was really upset about it.
That was bad. The whole thing was bad. And I feel like that killed Wes Bentley's career. Like, I don't remember him doing anything else after that.
He's in the last Mission Impossible movie for like 5 minutes. But he's really good. He's in Interstellar. That movie's terrible too. Yeah.
Who is he in Interstellar?
Don't you remember? Love is unquantifiable.
I don't fucking remember. And I love Interstellar, and I don't.
You love Interstellar?
I like it a lot. How dare you? I like it a lot. What's wrong with that
loves
movie?
Interstellar?
You're talking about Matthew McConaughey, right?
Yes, the fucking Chris Nolan ridiculous movie. Like,
this movie's fantastically awesome. What are you talking about?
He pushes the books.
Yes, that's awesome.
The movie's fucking terrible.
Yeah, fucking binary,
remember the square that runs around?
The school. I feel like you're mocking me.
That rectangle. It's pretty good.
I like Interstellar.
When we're not gonna talk about Interstellar right now. Wes Bentley plays Blackheart and fucked it all up. I think he's the worst part of that movie.
Oh my god.
I've there and back again with Nick Cage. So when I first kind of was getting into movies and I saw Nicolas Cage, I really liked him. And then there was a period where I really didn't. And now I'm kind of back there. Like I will always kind of have a soft spot for Nick Cage, but people have been writing more think pieces on it and stuff, and kind of opened my eyes to a few things that I think are very interesting, stuff that he's said about acting. So I'm down for whatever. I'm there for Nick Cage. Whatever weirdness he's gonna do, I'm kind of there for it.
Really?
Yeah. He had talked about how, like, because he used to be kind of like a method actor, and he played a part where he like had a tooth removed or something so that he could, really get into character.
Jesus Christ.
But after a while, he was like, well, that's boring me. I don't want to do parts like that. I don't want to make art that way. I want to make art different. And he said something along the lines of, like, why does acting have to be realistic? Like, because it's an art form, and the only thing that people judge good acting on is how realistically you can portray the characters. Like, but like that's saying that the best picture of a house is a technically perfect one, right? But you can do like surrealism or impressionism or whatever of a house that can move you in different ways. Mm-hmm. And so he looks at acting that way. It's like, why do I have to be real and authentic? Why can't I be bombastic? Why can't I be weird or try new things and stretch different muscles in this art form, right? Mm-hmm. This is art. This isn't, it's not some dogmatic rule set. It's not a ritual or whatever. So I thought that's real interesting, and that he's an artist first, actor second. That's pretty cool. Like, I don't know any actors that are really doing stuff like that, and everybody just tries to do Daniel Day-Lewis, and everybody's just like not as good as him.
Yeah.
And there are great actors out there, and there's some great method actors, but you can see how method is turned more into like a PR move than an actual quality performance. Like when someone... Like Jared Leto.
I was just going to say, Jared Leto is exactly the PR method acting because it was awful. It's like, I send people gifts.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Yeah. Fucking goddamn it.
I never met even like Denis Villeneuve had talked about how like he always stayed in character in 2049, Jared Leto. It's like, fuck that guy. Like, he sounds like an asshole. And there are plenty of other reasons. Go do a deep dive on Jared Leto. Find out why. But,
Jesus Christ.
But those are some of the reasons why I think Nick Cage deserves a real close examination. I really dig him.
I love...
And Mandy's really good. He's really fucking good.
I heard that was like a fucking like, hey, Nick Cage is back. Like that's a movie that you need to watch.
But he does make a lot of terrible movies.
Yeah. So, I love that idea, but I can't get behind that.
And then I think I just heard recently, I don't know what I was listening to, some podcast or some video or something, that Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance didn't have anything to do with the first Ghost Rider, and I was like, I thought it was a direct sequel. And like, no, it's a different story or a reboot or something. Like, it's Nick Cage still, but it doesn't have anything to do with the previous Ghost Rider. And I don't know. Cause
I never saw it.
I watched Spirit of Vengeance once when I first started living with you. I lived on the floor. But Idris Elba's in that movie, and so is Christopher Lambert.
What?
They're both in that movie, in Spirit of Vengeance. Oh, and it's
Idris Elba.
I know. It's so weird. But I sometimes forget, like, Idris will act in your movie. You know, like, he's been in some... He's the bad guy in... I was going to say Calvin and Hobbes.
What the fuck?
Hobbes and Shaw.
Oh, God. The
Fast and
Fast and the Furious spinoff.
Yeah.
Gaka.
Calvin and Hobbes.
I would watch that.
I watch that.
You make
but he's in
fucking
Spirit of Vengeance, and I feel like those movies, they barely stayed in my brain. You know, like, I like Nick Cage. I think he's a terrible Johnny Blaze. It would have been cooler if he was played like...
About that movie's terrible.
If he had played an older, like, Danny Ketch. That was the first Ghost Rider that I heard about Johnny Blaze, but by the time I was reading comics, Danny Ketch was the Ghost Rider, and Johnny Blaze was his own man, and they would get to shit together. That great, like, Mark Texeira fucking Ghost Rider stuff from the 90s.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
That's a series I didn't really... I always loved the covers, but I never really read it. I think when I think I read my first real Ghost Rider story was when we were fucking... I don't know if we were visiting Hunter or if you were living in Austin or we were visiting our friend Kaylee, but we were visiting somebody in Austin, and I bought a Ghost Rider comic, and that was probably the first Ghost Rider comic I ever bought, read, and loved, because again, if I say stuff that people are gonna be like, yeah, no fucking shit, like, that's Ghost Rider, I don't know, because I don't know a lot about Ghost Rider, but it was taking place like in like 1850 something, and these people were fucking murdered and wiped out, and this guy, I don't know if he was hung, I don't know if he was like a fucking slave of some sort or whatever, but he got fucking pieced out, and the Ghost Rider fucking took him and resurrected him to come back, and he was like, it was just so fucking cool, because it was like this dude with this like big fucking coat, fucking skull on fire on a fucking horse that was all inflamed and shit, and it was basically the idea of like, every time, you know, innocent blood is spilled, a Ghost Rider comes forth and, you know, rides and shit like that.
I can't remember the name of the demon. It's like, it starts with the Z, I think.
Ghost Rider.
I can't remember. But yeah, there was, I think, Jason Aaron wrote Ghost Rider.
Did he really?
Yeah, when he was like real early in his career.
Oh, wow.
He did like a semi-truck driver, like Ghost Rider. And it was like on the, something like on the cab, it said like the devil came down to Georgia or something like that. He did some fucking crazy Southern Gothic shit.
Really?
Yeah.
I would read
like, go find the Jason Aaron stuff. Like,
I will read that.
Jason Aaron did a Black Panther Secret Invasion tie-in book that I have in a trade that's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, Jason Aaron is that guy. Like, everything he writes.
Anytime that dude's name is attached to anything, I'll read it. He fucking he could have wrote the back of a cereal box and I'll read it.
Oh fuck yes! Like, he's only one of two. Okay, original DC Vertigo Hellblazer that aged in real time. He's a British guy written only by Brits. Right? There's only two Americans that have ever written fucking John Constantine in that original Hellblazer series, and it was Brian Azzarello and Jason Aaron.
Nice.
You know, only two Americans that ever wrote for him.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Right. Now it doesn't matter because the character is different. But, yeah, Ghost Rider has a lot to pull from. And I don't know, I think it's definitely like a Rob Zombie kind of character, to where it's all just flash. But it takes a real concentrated mind to do something really interesting with him. Mm-hmm. And some people just can't be bothered. And there's a lot of low-lying fruit with Ghost Rider.
I think that's his biggest problem. Leather jackets and chains and
flames and
fire
fast cars or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that can kind of be rolled into something really interesting. But
I don't think people, like you said, I don't think people ever really took the time or couldn't be bothered with doing that. Because I've always thought that would be cool. And again, I never read a lot of Ghost Rider. Like I said, I don't think I've read really much any Ghost Rider. But even I can see it like, oh shit, I would like to deep dive into, you know, the who, the what, and the whys, you know, versus like when you see Ghost Rider in anything else, it's always motorcycle, car, fire skull, like cool imagery. And it's like, yeah, that's awesome, but
dude, I was just thinking about it right now. I have a hardcover that I had got from my last job, and it's Jason Aaron's run on Punisher Max. I forgot I had it. I was like, I'm gonna read that. Like, I forgot, like, I bought it to read eventually. But yeah, the Ghost Rider movies, meh.
No, not even meh. God awful. Like,
right now in the comics,
meh's nice.
There's like Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I think that's kind of interesting. I haven't read any of it, but that's something different. but I feel like it's like he's at the cosmic section of his cycle as far as as far as dude, I'm
joke of the day.
Bad jokes today. But like eventually he'll come back to Earth, and there'll be like after Cosmic Ghost Rider there'll be some too ridiculous version of the Ghost Rider, and then it'll be a back to basics Ghost Rider series will come out probably in like 5 years. We're 5 to 10 years. We're due for a back to basics hardcore Ghost Rider story, and that's going to be fantastic. But
yeah. Then
as it stands right now, he's in space, so here we go.
Yes, Jason was also in space. So,
dude, if you fucking put Ghost Rider in Guardians 3, I'll watch that. Who doesn't want to see that?
pretty interesting,
right? I would watch Cosmic Ghost Rider with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
But yeah, so there's those movies. I'm trying to think. The Blade series.
Blade 1
is almost
was
a great trilogy.
Yeah, that third fucking. We'll get there.
Yeah.
That third Blade was fucking awful. But Blade 1.
Right?
Holy
shit. A lot of
shit.
people say that Blade kicked off the modern comic book movie craze.
I can see that.
Because I think it was like Blade came out in 98. I think it was rated R, no fucks given. They're going to do this movie right. But because they're working with such a small budget, nobody gave a shit. You know, they're like, go make your movie. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and a lot of
and so they're like, okay, we're going to make a fucking movie. You know? God, I think
the best thing Wesley Snipes ever did, in my opinion, was Blade.
I really like New Jack City. Like, he's really
well, yeah.
I remember seeing New Jack City.
Yeah,
New Jack the same thing was kind of like with Jason Statham and Snatch. Like, I didn't know these guys knew martial arts until way later. Like, what are they doing kicking? Like,
yeah.
You know, like, I thought they were just actors. You know?
Matter of fact, that's how I kind of judge people. It was like, Jason Statham, action star or just a good actor? Like, what do you say? Like, oh, action star. Yeah.
There's a scene in like New Jack City where he kills his brother and he's just crying. He's crying. Oh god, he's so good. I thought he was really good in Demolition Man. I mean, I really like Wesley Snipes. He's kind of a crazy.
No. I didn't mean to say. I didn't mean it to come off as like he's not done anything good. I love him in Demolition Man. I love him in a lot of movies, but I think I love him in Major League.
I always forget he's in Major League.
But I think the best thing he ever did was Blade. Like that's like holy shit, you fucking that was great.
It seemed like something that he was doing that he was really passionate about.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Blade felt like something like. No, I'm having the time of my life with this character.
Him in White Man Can't Jump.
He's great in White Man Can't Jump.
He's fantastic.
It's pretty. It's so pretty. Passenger 57, I really enjoy.
I like that movie. The villain was a dude from Warlock. Oh, that's not him. That's someone else. Never mind. I'm getting confused with another blonde British dude.
European villain.
Yeah, the European villain trope.
What was it? Drop Zone.
I remember that.
He was pretty good in that too.
Yeah, I remember that.
I fuck with Wesley Snipes. I saw a lot of Wesley Snipes films.
Yeah.
But Blade 1, I watch it periodically. Like, I'll watch it, I don't know, maybe twice a year or something. And damn if I don't enjoy the fuck out of that movie every time I watch it. You know, even like the only thing that doesn't hold up with Blade 1
is the graphics.
Are the effects. And even then, because the story's so good and the movie's so good.
You can look past it.
It doesn't even really matter. You know, like that's when you go, these guys are working with a budget and it obviously looks fake. You know, it's not even, it's almost Harry Potter bad, you know, but who gives a shit? You know, it's such a good, entertaining movie, you know. And
Deacon Frost, man. Deacon Frost.
Dude, Deacon Frost.
Motherfucker was cool.
It fucks me up. And it's like, there are so many, I don't know, it felt like something new was coming. So Frost is kind of the new young voice in vampiric society, right? And he's trying to bring the blood god and all this shit. And there's all these old crusty, you know, blue blood vampire house heads. And he's trying to like, what are you guys doing? You know, we shouldn't be at the bottom hiding. We should be ruling, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the new century was coming. It was like 98, you know, like 2000 was right there. And it's kind of like speaking for like that and Matrix were two movies that were kind of pushing against what used to be. Yeah. And I think Deacon Frost was good at that. He was perfect for that. And Blade was kind of like this new kind of hero for this generation. And you can get a little deeper. I don't want to get too stupid or silly, but like Blade was the Daywalker, right? So all of our strengths and of our weaknesses, like he was kind of this new hero for this new millennium. We would have to be hybrids to survive. Like that's how we would move forward. We wouldn't be one thing or another. We'd be a whole bunch of things, right? And that's Blade, and that's how he moved forward. And he got rid of all the old. But you get a really stupid idea in the Blood God, and you know.
That's really deep. That was actually really awesome. You made me like Blade even more.
It's good. Like I really enjoy that movie. It's hard to believe that the guy that directed League of Extraordinary Gentlemen directed that movie.
Yeah.
But I think that's a testament to Wesley Snipes and them trying to make something
maybe
good
even just also the fucking screenplay too. I mean,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it's a tight little script. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say surprises, but I think the pace is really good. I think that the actors and actresses are charismatic as fuck.
I love, like, one of the things I love about any superhero movie ever is the introduction of the hero. And I think Blade has fucking very cool ass intro.
I saw Blade at the theater when it came out, right? And that scene where he shoots the whatever vampire he's hunting at the rave, and he like shoots that thing in his chest or his shoulder, and he's pinned up against the wall.
Oh yeah.
And he does the kind of like Kevin McAllister with like his fist down and he smiles all weird. I was like, oh my god, is this movie going to be a fucking piece of shit? Like, what am I watching? And it just got so much better after that. You know?
Yeah.
It was just so good.
I love this. Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh god, what a great line! What a guy still use that in my
I
life.
use it every once in a while. Yeah, I actually used it at work like a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it's a great line. There's a lot of twists and turns. I think it's kind of scary. You know, I really applaud anybody who can make vampires scary because they're so, I don't know, they're not anymore.
They're so diluted now.
Like, yeah, they're on cereal boxes and stuff. You know, they're not monsters anymore. I really like, there's a scene where Deacon is, I guess, in the halls of the vampire library, and he's deciphering all these old glyphs, you know, and the old head shows up, and, you know, he's just like trying to talk to him, and he has like earbuds in, you know, and he's like listening to some fucked up music.
Yeah, like some kind of like real trance techno, like really out there.
It's really fucking weird techno garbage, right?
Yeah.
But in my head, I always think of it, it's like demon music, right?
Yeah.
This is like what monsters listen to. It sounds like a nightmare on a record. And it's some new shit that even the old vampires are like, you guys are weird.
Yeah.
Like, these vampires are young and weird.
Yeah.
You know? But he's like going through the vampire's history and he's like, why don't we dig deeper? Why don't we, you know, like, I really like all the questions that like Deacon is asking a vampiric society and then what Blade brings to the table. So there's a lot going on. I like that he's, you know, African American, you know, that's definitely something to mention. I think the character in the comics was terribly stupid and very boring.
He looked awful too. He had like a weird brown and green suit.
Such a dumb fucking. Chris Christopherson's pretty damn good in that.
Chris Christopherson is awesome in that movie.
Whistler.
Yeah, Whistler. He's awesome in that movie. I love Chris Christopherson. Like, he was really cool. I fucking thought he was great.
There's a scene. This is like just before bullet time, right? It's when what's his name, Deacon Frost has the little girl in Chinatown, and they're like talking face to face, and Deacon's out in the sun, and he's like, you know, he has like sunblock on or whatever.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like sweating and stuff, and they're just like jawing back and forth, and Deacon's like, you should join us, what are you doing with the humans? And he's like, oh, shut up, you're a fucking idiot. But he has the little girl, and he's threatening, he's like, you know, be careful, don't threaten me or I'm gonna kill this little girl.
Yeah.
And Blade just, you know, being Blade. But Deacon says something along the lines of, you're going to wish they never cut you from your mother. And right when he says it, the gun comes up and he shoots 3 bullets. No fucks given. Frost throws the little girl through a fucking, like a newsstand.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy scene.
God, and that was so good.
Oh, God. And they're back and forth. They have like a great, like Wesley Snipes and, what's his name, Steven Dorff?
Yeah.
They play really well off of each other.
Yeah, they do.
They look like they can't fucking stand each other, which is perfect.
Yeah, I wonder if that was real. I fucking loved it. Yeah, that movie's fantastic.
And there's like comedy where there should be comedy,
exactly,
but it's never too much. It rarely feels like there's a big like exposition dump. I think it's a tight little script. It's a good movie. I really, really, really enjoy Blade 1. And then Blade 2 was just more of the same.
More of Blade. And it was awesome. And they introduced the fucking, what was it, the Blood Pact, or what was it called? The
Blood Pact.
Yeah, they're called the Blood Pact. Yeah. I thought that was so cool because then it started speaking to my, like, oh, there's a team? There's a team of fucking awesome dudes all dressed in black with sunglasses, but they were trained to kill Blade? Now they have to work together? Oh,
for this new threat. You know?
And it was cool because I loved the way... Didn't Guillermo do that one?
Yeah, Del Toro.
Yeah, because you could tell from the makeup, there was a huge shift in creature design, I guess you could say. Yeah. The way that, like, at first, I wanted to actually hate that idea, but then the more it grew on me, the idea of a vampire almost evolution, you know, like this is a more perfect creature,
a new strain.
Yeah. And I like that because it was a strain. Like, no, this isn't inhuman, even though they're not human. Like, this isn't. I don't even know what you would call it. Like an abomination of what we are already. You know, it's like
they're already these damned things, and it's like this is a worse version of that.
Yeah, I thought that was so fucking cool. And the main killer, the main evil vampire, whatever his name, he was the prince in Hellboy 2. And that dude knows fucking he can do some martial arts shit. He did some badass stuff. But man, that movie was fucking awesome. And what's his name's in it?
Norman Reedus is in it.
Norman, he is in it. I was actually gonna go with fucking Hellboy himself.
Oh, Ron Perlman.
Yeah, Ron Perlman is in it.
Yeah,
but yeah, Norman Reedus is in it. I can't stand him in that movie, but
there's a scene where like Blade jumps onto one of these vampires and he has like a silver.
Oh, like, yeah, I remember that
line.
Yeah,
it's like he chokes the guy and his head disintegrates and the whole body disintegrates and Blade just like sits on the bike. It's so cool.
Yeah, I remember that. That shit was fucking awesome.
Guillermo's vision was really good. It stayed really.
The only thing that sucks about that movie is that weird CG sword fight when they like are looking for Blade. Yeah, that was very cringy. It's like, oh, can we
just like real rubbery?
Yeah, it was bad video game graphics in a very well made movie. But then after they did all that,
but the blood pack felt like something you would see in anime. You know, you would see like a team of people, and they all like one has a giant hammer, and the other one has like poison nails or whatever. You know,
I love that. That was so cool.
Really, really cool.
It's like, oh, that dude's the sword guy, and that guy is the hammer, and he doesn't even speak English.
Yeah,
like,
those two are brothers.
The girl with the dude with the hammer. It was like that was very anime. Like if he was like 3 times bigger and she was sitting on his shoulder, like that would have been the most perfect anime visual ever. But yes, I love that, and I think that's what I loved so much about it because it felt. You say anime, and I watched anime too, but it felt very video game-ish, you know, Team 7 comic book kind of stuff. Like, oh, this is just fucking cool. I loved it. That was fucking badass.
Yeah, and Guillermo knew how to tell a really interesting story, or like carrying on the mythology without necessarily getting in his own way. And he didn't make it about himself the way a lot of directors can. A lot of his style bleeds through in that movie, but never at the expense of the story. You know, you can go like, oh, that is Guillermo. Yeah. And then you see all of the flashes, but it never gets in your way. Yeah. You know, it's never, but it's his film first. It's a Blade movie first, and it's really cool.
Yes, I agree.
But I really fucking enjoyed it. And that's when, like, I think that was the first movie I had seen Norman Reedus in. It wasn't until years later that I saw Boondock Saints and whatever else I might have seen him in before fucking Walking Dead. But
yeah. You're 100% right. I think that was the first time I was introduced to him because I remember just fucking hating that dude, like calling like B-man and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
I remember there's a scene when at the beginning when Blade shows up back at his his hideout or whatever, and he says, "Oh, the Dark Knight returns," and I was like, "Yay!"
Oh my god!
I think David Goyer like wrote or co-wrote that movie.
He did, and I don't know how, but oh well. So so what was after that?
Blade Trinity, with Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel and
that fucking movie.
Parker Posey and Triple H and
is dog fucking shit.
Certified. I tried to watch that again, and I couldn't get through it.
The guy from Prison Break, the fucking Dracula, is the worst
plays Dracula
thing ever. First of all,
Patton Oswalt's in that movie.
Patton Oswalt is in that movie.
Movie's fucking dog shit. I think David Goyer is a decent writer. I think when he gives his ideas to other better artists, they make great stuff. But when he does it on his own, it's terrible. And he wrote and directed Blade Trinity. And I think it's god awful. It
is fucking awful. It's like borderline you bold territory. Like it's really bad.
But whatever we could say about Blade Trinity, like go find Patton Oswalt talking about his time on Blade Trinity.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Those, find them. It'll make your day. If you're into this stuff and you, for whatever reason, don't know that Patton Oswalt was in a Blade movie, go watch that.
That shit, I've seen so all of them. They're great. YouTube that shit. It is fantastic. It really is. I just don't know what the fuck they were thinking. And it's so funny because like First of all of that movie is bad. It's like Sci-Fi Channel quality bad. It's like a sci-fi original, Blade Trinity. It's what it feels like.
Kind of like that Doom Annihilation trailer.
Yeah, just like the Doom Annihilation trailer. But the one thing that always fucks me up about it is Ryan Reynolds is in it. And he's still entertaining.
Yeah, But
he's so out of place because he's entertaining that it just really throws the movie off. It's like, why are you...
Again, like Bullseye and Daredevil, but in a different direction. Like, Ryan Reynolds is in a different movie.
Yeah.
But he doesn't belong there because he's above it. You know what I mean? Like, he's funny, he's charming, and why is he in this movie?
Yeah. I would like, if you would show people that movie now, like, why is Deadpool in Blade?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and he's doing a Deadpool-esque thing, you know?
Yeah.
But, God, his name was like Hannibal...
Dracula?
Ryan Reynolds' character.
Oh, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't...
Like Hannibal Cage or something like that. Something fucking dumb.
Oh my god. I hope it's Hannibal Cage. I'm gonna look that up right now. Blade Trinity.
Jockey McBadass. It's like his
Jockey McBadass. Hold on, let me see. Hannibal King.
King.
Wow, you were
Hannibal
really
King.
Close.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
Wow. Jessica Biel was Abigail Whistler.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dominic Purcell was the dude who plays Dracula. Don't ever fuck... Dominic, if you're
Purcell.
listening to this, don't ever fucking do that ever again.
He's really good in The Flash. Almost everything else that I've seen him in, he's good in. In this movie, he's terrible. And the fact that he was supposed to be Dracula. You can do so much with that. And then the last fight where Blade fights Dracula. And he wears like... He has like his armor, but then he has like an undershirt, like a long sleeve undershirt on for most of the movie. It looks really weird.
Well, no, he has like a weird, like, didn't he have like a weird vest thing where his chest is constantly exposed?
No, it's like under stuff.
Really? I could have sworn it was like this weird, like, S&M thing. I swear I remember that.
At the end of Blade 1, he just gets his vest back, but he doesn't have any...
Oh, no, I'm talking about Dracula.
Oh,
like
Dracula?
He has this, like,
No,
weird...
Dracula has like his chest exposed almost down to his belly button.
Ugh,
He's like sweaty all the time. Like he's just like constantly
he's supposed
sweating.
to be glistening.
Oh,
God, that was awful. But yeah. When Blade fights in that, he looks it's kind of off-putting. It's just a weird. So the Blade look at this. This looks like something you would see on fucking Sci-Fi. There was that show, that Face Off.
You almost can't say Sci-Fi anymore. Like Jesus.
Yeah,
that's bad.
For those listening to the podcast, I just pulled up an image of Dracula in Blade Trinity, and it looks like bad cosplay. Fucking bad. Like, you can see the paper mache.
And now like Sci-Fi makes pretty good stuff. You know, like they're getting to a point to where
I don't have cable, so I haven't seen modern sci-fi. So yeah, I'm talking. When I say sci-fi, I'm talking about the laughable shit. If sci-fi's improved, good job, Sci-Fi. I'm very happy. I don't have cable, so I don't know. So we got Blade Trinity, Ghost Rider, Daredevil, caca.
Yeah.
I guess we start rolling into.
Did you watch Man Thing? Speaking of sci-fi.
No.
Yeah, there was a Man Thing movie.
There was a Man Thing movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. Do you ever see any of the old like crappy movies that were like the Roger Corman Fantastic Four that floats around the internet, or
I
the old
saw
Captain
a little
America?
bit of that. I've seen that Captain America movie from
the Trial of the
beginning to
Incredible
end.
Hulk that has like Thor and Daredevil in it.
No, I haven't seen that one. I saw that Captain America movie, and I really tried very hard to like it as when I watched, because I watched it when I was young. I was like, this is Captain America.
David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury.
I think he looked fantastic. I think I think so. Like when you look at Nick Fury and then you look at David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury, you're like, wow, I think he looks exactly like him. But then you hear him talking, you're like, oh, stop it, just stop it. I'm so happy that they changed Nick Fury. Like
I
one
really
of those
like
people.
Sam Jackson,
Yeah.
and I do basically like the MCU Ultimate Universe take, whatever. But just before I saw the first Avenger, I was reading Secret Warriors, and that was Brian Bendis and Jonathan Hickman were writing that for a little bit, and then just Jonathan Hickman. And that's kind of like how Hickman came into Marvel. And he turned that, he's like, instead of writing Secret Warriors, I'm going to write a Nick Fury book. I'm going to low-key write a Nick Fury book, and it's going to be awesome. And that's what he did. And I swear to God, nobody mentions this. I've watched a ton of videos recently about Captain America and the Winter Soldier and all sorts of shit, right? And the twist that S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra the whole time, right? I remember reading that first in Secret Warriors. Mm-hmm. Like, Hickman came up with that twist that the whole time, like, Nick is on the run because he started referring to him as Nick Fury, Agent of Nothing, because he finds out that Hydra has infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and that it has been Hydra for fucking ever. And he needs to get out. and he takes these band of warriors with him, like these other spies, and he just runs and kind of like brings the whole thing down. And I remember seeing that in Winter Soldier. I was like, are they fucking doing Secret Warriors? Is that what's happening? And no one talks about it. And I wonder if maybe that was a thing that someone had already done. But there's no way.
Or if you made that up in your head.
I don't know, because we went to
Because you're that good, Gonzalo.
But we saw fucking Winter Soldier together.
Yeah.
And I read Secret Warriors when I was living in Austin, so years before. So you know what I mean? Like, but nobody mentions it. I don't know how that happens. Like,
that's weird.
Ed Brubaker's in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
You know, but there's no mention of Hickman as far as that twist is concerned. Or Bendis. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I remember reading Secret Warriors and thinking very clearly, like, oh my god, they're doing Secret Warriors. That's nuts.
That's actually really awesome. I didn't know that. Fucking thank you.
But I would like to see any of Hickman's arcs. As far as Marvel's concerned, I'd love to see brought to the big screen.
Oh yeah,
I love all of his writing. And now that he's going to be doing X-Men, pretty excited.
That's going to be fucking good. But X-Men needs a fucking win right now. Like, bad.
Now they can, though. That's what I feel like. Like, X-Men, because now they belong to Disney again, they bought Fox, that now Marvel's like, okay guys, let's get some good creators, let's take them out of timeout, let's do some good X-Men stuff. So Hickman's going to be writing 2 X-Men books.
How bad does Phoenix look?
Oh my god, Dark Phoenix looks terrible. I don't know how New Mutants is somehow on a shelf on a USB drive just collecting dust.
That trailer was fucking stunning.
They're making Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. Like,
they're gonna release it.
Yeah.
Like, you're really gonna release that? That's
one of those things. You know what I think it is? It's just because that chick is in Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones has a lot of heat right now. So it's like, we're gonna make some tickets. We're gonna sell something.
I was trying to find an in. Like, why release this? Why not do New Mutants if you're gonna put something this terrible
Dark Phoenix is Sansa Stark, so sell tickets. People will go watch it because of that connection.
Arya's in New Mutants.
Shut up.
So that would have been a great segue. It's whatever. Hickman wrote Fantastic Four. Is going to write X-Men. So we'll talk about Fox's Fantastic Four and X-Men.
Because they were still all before Spider-Man, right?
X-Men was the first X-Men came out, and then Spider-Man came out.
So I remember
Fantastic Four didn't come out until after this.
After. So X-Men. At the time, I remember really digging it. I really loved it. There's still people who, and I think you're one of them, who really enjoy / like the X-Men movie. Am I correct on that? You like that? No. Okay, good.
I like X2.
See, I don't even like X2 anymore. Like, the more I watched the first X-Men movie, like when I first watched it, I was like, "Dude, it's so fucking badass!" And Wolverine, and then I the second time I watched it, it was almost an immediate like, it's okay, like. And again, it goes back to, I know after all these podcasts, people who've been listening, they're going to think I'm just really snobby and kind of shitty. But again, I'm not a diehard Sabretooth fan, but I like Sabretooth. I fucking, that weird, long eyebrow-haired fucking dumbass, like, that's not Sabretooth. Like, look-wise, almost, except for the weird long eyebrow.
Yeah, there is a version of Sabretooth out there that kind of looks like that.
Yeah. The like very old school fucking, and then of course they started doing that in the comics. I was like, no. My Sabretooth will always be that weird orange and brown, big,
the Jim Lee
yellow.
Sabretooth.
Fuck yeah! When you really look at that design, you're like, what are you wearing? Like, what is this? But he looks so.
The sock on their head with the face cut out, like the Gambit mask.
Yeah, it's so cool. I don't give a fuck. Sabretooth looks so awesome.
That's one of the few things. Like, I feel like that version of Sabretooth would not work.
Ever.
On screen at all. I'm hard fucking pressed to see anybody pull that off. Omega Red, on the other hand, I think is tailor-made for the screen. Like, Omega Red. Like, all the different designs they've given him in the comics over the past, 2 decades have been cool. But I think that original Jim Lee Omega Red design, you put that on TV or a movie,
I think he would look
badass.
Amazing.
Omega Red is such a cool character.
It's such a great design. So fucking good. Like, I think that one really withstood the test of time. Sabretooth again. He has like little brown tips on his feet. Like, what is that? Like,
he's great.
But I love the way he looks. I love that. I love it. He looks so fucking cool. He has this big yellow mane, like a coat almost, but it's not.
It's like a mane, yeah.
And then of course the thing that covers his face, and then he has like curly blonde hair almost.
Yeah, it's like poking out the top.
Yeah, it's like what is going on? I don't know.
We can do a whole podcast on how great the X-Men designs are, but we're talking about X-Men.
You know what? We need to do
top 5 X-Men.
Oh my
That would
god!
be pretty great.
Go.
Top 5 Jim Lee X-Men designs since.
Holy shit!
There'd be a bunch of fucking John Byrne fans out there going, "Fuck you." Okay, but really fast, I wanted to mention this. That the bright moment in X-Men since this whole Fox bullshit had been going on is Jason Aaron again when he did Schism, and then he did
Schism was fantastic.
yeah,
I read the shit out of that.
He did Wolverine and the X-Men. That run, that was such a good fucking X-Men run, and his run on Wolverine is fantastic. Like,
that's one of those. I think he's just like, I know how to write my own. You know
exactly,
what I mean?
Yeah. He writes these real like Southern
fucking just
beers.
Yeah. Say it. It's not offensive. It's fucking real, and you know it. It's awesome. Just the man's man, blue collar, fucking hairy knuckled badass. Like just fucking awesome. And that's Wolverine. And it's so funny because we were actually talking about something about Wolverine, the X-Men movies or something. And I think one of my buddies at work, he had said something about like, Hugh Jackman being perfect. And I was like, and in back of my head, I was like, yeah, Logan, Hugh Jackman's perfect. But Hugh Jackman, previous X-Men movies was not perfect. It's like, I wanted my short, stocky, fucking little hairy. You can't really tell what his ethnicity is, but you know he's not really Caucasian.
Yeah, he's like, not American.
Yeah, he's like, I wanted like the fucking, just the thick fucking, almost animal, but yet in a weird way, like he's not
wild
animal.
Behind his eyes.
Yeah, not the tall, lanky, Hugh Jackman. Even though, again, Logan is probably one of the most perfect things you could have ever done with Wolverine and Hugh Jackman together.
He's not like tame. He's just kind of domesticated. You know what I mean? He's like housebroken or something. But that's
good.
it.
That's good. But anyways, what I was trying to say is, I don't even know what I was trying to say.
Hugh Jackman, was he a perfect Wolverine or not?
Oh yeah. So I always have to remind myself that there are a lot of people who they get an idea. I'm an idea. They get. We're gonna make a game of that where every time I say that you got to drink internet. But people have an idea of what Wolverine is, and then there are people who know like the core of Wolverine. And I would like to see, I guess what I was trying to bring up was, as much as I like Hugh Jackman, as much as I love Logan, I absolutely adore Logan, those first couple of X-Men movies with Hugh Jackman really weren't that great. But I would like to see what they would do with him now in the proper MCU. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, I'm excited to see what that could possibly be.
Yeah, I'm excited for a lot of this because some of the best Marvel movies are character pieces. There's a lot more character development, and that's all the X-Men are. It's like a fucking soap opera, and in its heyday, and when it works best, it's a soap opera. Yeah, and it's fantastic. I love that version.
So
of the
many
X-Men.
little storylines going on.
Yeah, it's like there is like blossoming romance, and then there's also like oppression and hate speech and all sorts of stuff that is very topical and rich, but somehow
X-Men ongoing series on HBO. Go, let's go.
Dude,
I would watch the shit out of that.
But the X-Men movies for Fox were one of the first memes brought to the silver screen was fucking I'm the Juggernaut bitch.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, you're
somehow
right.
the internet culture had changed art instead of the other way around. Like, meme culture hadn't necessarily found its footing yet, but it was constantly pulling from pop culture. And now pop culture was remaking it in its own image, right?
That's right. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. And I think I went with a few friends to watch that movie, and we all we wanted to high five over it, but we were like, terrible, because we were big X-Men 90s kids. Yeah. So seeing that, I'm the Juggernaut bitch.
And I remember watching that video on the internet. Eli showed it to me, and I remember laughing my ass off and going, that's the best thing ever. Yeah. But then seeing it in the movie, you're kind of like I remember going oh.
Yeah. It's like having to read your tweet out loud to a room full of people. It's like, I don't want to do that ever again.
It's like listening to did you ever watch the fucking How to Catch a Predator? Did you ever see those shows?
Oh yeah, I see.
Did you ever see the one where they're like, did you write I want to put ice cream down your butt crack? When they're reading their awful
any embarrassing tweet or text.
But that's what I'm saying, at that level of the perversion is like, oh
god. Yeah, and fucking Juggernaut is saying it to Kitty Pryde, right? Ellen Page is playing Kitty Pryde at this time. She looks like she's 9.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Well, calm it down. Yeah. But that movie, actually, I remember that movie is so poorly made that when Cyclops was killed at the beginning, I wasn't even sure that is what had happened. Like, it wasn't conveyed. And then when Professor X and Magneto were killed, I didn't necessarily get it. It didn't sink in, and it wasn't like it was so shocked that they were dead. It was like, I don't get what just happened.
Did you get sent to another world?
Yeah, or? Yeah. The first dusting. Yeah.
Wow.
But that movie is awful.
Yeah. Like, and I remember watching it. I remember not liking it in theaters. And I remember people like, dude, that was really good. And I was like, did we watch the same fucking movie? And
I remember supposed to be Psylocke.
And I remember
4 people in the back.
And I remember fucking going, I need to talk to Gonzalo. Like, I need to talk to this man because everyone around me is like, dude, that was really fucking good. And like, Magneto picked up the Golden Gate Bridge, and I was like,
I feel like there's maybe like the first 4 X-Men movie, which we'll say is X-Men United. What's the third one called?
I thought X-Men United was the third one.
X2 is X-Men United.
Yeah, this is it.
X3 is Last Stand.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and then the 4th X-Men movie is Wolverine Origins. Yeah. Right. So in each one of those, there's like one really, really good thing, and I'm gonna see if I can do this. So in X-Men 1 is the scene in Auschwitz with Magneto. That's really powerful stuff, right? In X-Men 2, it's when Wolverine goes to town on that SWAT team that comes in to get the kids.
Yes, absolutely.
That is a great scene.
Yes. Where you finally get a taste of Berserker rage.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
X3, it's Kelsey Grammer as Beast. Him as Beast was almost perfect casting in that he looked kind of feral, but he looked very dignified. Yeah. And so you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of what I picture Beast to be, you know? Which I thought was really cool to see. And I didn't think they could pull it off, and they kind of did. And then... yes. And then X-Men's origin was that intro.
I've never seen it. I never wanted to see it.
Really? With, what's his name? Lee Shriver as Sabretooth?
No, wait. Oh, X-Men Origin. I was thinking of the... What was the other X-Men, the Wolverine movie? I think it was just called The Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought.
To Japan?
Oh, yeah. No. Okay, I haven't seen that.
No, okay.
Yes, Lee Shriver. That's Sabretooth! That's more Sabretooth than anything I've ever seen.
That intro scene where they're like fighting across conflicts from like the Civil War to modern or to Vietnam or something.
Great.
How did that movie do that? You know, like that. What the fuck? Also, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. You know, or Wade Wilson. You know. Yeah. And I heard a story. I don't know if this is true. I'm pretty sure it's true, but that movie was made during the writer's strike.
It was. And yes, I heard that too.
A lot, like from I think Ryan said this or somebody said it, but it's like in the script it said Wade says something sarcastic, and that's it. So all the scenes with Wade Wilson
was just
Ryan just riffing. Yeah, and you're like, really, this dude was born to play this motherfucking character.
That's then awesome.
We had one bright, shiny movie, and I think it was the one that's in the 60s. God, what's it called?
Oh,
First Class.
First Class. That is a great X-Men movie.
Great X-Men movie.
The one thing that I will pull from every one of those movies. Okay, so the first X-Men movie. What did you say your shining moment was?
The opening scene at Auschwitz.
Yes, the opening scene at Auschwitz. For me, it's just anything with Magneto and Xavier. Their conversations, you know. I will bring you hope, old friend. Like, that's all of that it's perfect.
Sneaking around in here, Charles. That's a pretty great scene.
So good.
And there's like 2 old actors.
Yeah,
like
actors.
Yeah, they're actors. Fucking Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart.
And to find out that they're like best fucking friends, like that's so cool. And then to find out that the next generation of Professor X and Magneto are like best friends. It's like, dude, that's so awesome. You have to be best friends to be Magneto, Professor X and Magneto, apparently. But in the second movie, the Berserker Rage for sure. There is nothing better than that. The only second place is seeing Colossus turn into Colossus for
but that's during
2
that scene.
seconds. Yeah, so that's second place. Everything else is like blah. The third movie for me, not really anything. There's nothing anything. Nothing.
I think it is really cold-blooded when Mystique gets hit with like the fix the mutant gene serum or whatever. She just turns normal, and Magneto just like, oh, you used to be so pretty or whatever, and he walks off, just leaves her ass there.
Yeah, that was fucking cold-blooded. And then in the fourth X-Men
Brett
movie.
Ratner, that's the name of the director, piece of shit. Anyway, sorry.
Brett Ratner? I thought it was
Did the third one.
Oh, the third. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, these movies are just rife with terrible directors.
Yeah,
Fucking
no
Bryan
shit.
Singer.
Yeah. God dang it. And then what was the fourth one again? With the fucking
Wolverine Origins.
Wolverine Origins. What was a good thing
I
about
like that actor that plays Blob. I like that actor.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his
think
name.
I think my favorite thing about that entire movie is Victor Creed. Like,
Lee Schreiber's
Sabretooth
awesome.
is the best thing in that movie. He looks
Sabretooth never deserved to have that good of a showing. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
he's not that good a character. He doesn't deserve to have Lee Schreiber put that much fucking effort into it.
Dude, yeah, for sure. Bottom line, best thing about that entire fucking thing is Lee Schreiber as Sabretooth. He's fantastic. And if they ever do that again, I would kind of like, can you bring him back, please? Like, I would want him as Sabretooth again.
I really enjoy Logan. I think Logan is probably one of the 5 best superhero-based movies ever made.
I totally agree.
The only thing missing from that movie
It's
are
Sabretooth.
the sweaty parts. There's no reason why in this little road trip you make that movie 15 minutes longer and they stop and they see Magneto or his grave and they stop and they see Sabretooth. I don't know why you can't do that. You know, there's so... Like, yes, they went out with a bang, but so intent on only doing that they almost ignored the fact that it's Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, let me ask you this. Would you have entertained the idea of, instead of what's his name with the robotic arm being the guy going to, it was Sabretooth?
No, I wouldn't want Sabretooth.
No. Okay. I was just curious.
Because it's like they're hunting mutants and stuff, you know. I don't like that.
Oh
idea.
yeah. I guess you're right.
But maybe, and I think the first half of the like family that they stay with is kind of lame, you know.
You think
and
so?
And the second half, it's a good build up too. You know what's coming. Like there's just this dark cloud. What? It's like this dark cloud hanging over that entire scene. The moment is like, hey, just come on, rest for a night. Like, oh, they're good people. Like, oh, these guys are done. Like, there's no way.
I must be gullible as fuck because I didn't expect it to be. You know what? I'm lying to you. I expected it to be like a moment of like family and clarity, and then them leave in the morning, and then like change Logan for a little bit. Like
no. I was like, they're gonna have this. Their presence is gonna make them. This is gonna go horribly wrong in the worst of ways. I just don't know how it's gonna happen, and it's fantastic how it does. But dude, I would almost sacrifice half of that to like visit Magneto. Like, think of how they reimagined Caliban, Logan, and Professor X, right? Imagine that universe's Magneto. Like, what does that look like? It would be so powerful and sad, you know? And it is someone who survived concentration camps to die the way that anyone dies in the Logan universe, right? That Logan world, there's no happy ending for Eric Langshire in that world, you know what I mean? And then Victor Creed. Like, I would like to see Victor in that
I think in that world, Magneto is gone already. I think he's dead.
You think he's already dead?
Yeah, but I think Sabretooth is half the man he used to be, you know, like...
Or maybe I think that there was, like, some ideas kicked around for that movie that that's who they were gonna meet up with in Oklahoma. That he was gonna be, like, kind of a mid-tier crime boss, and they were gonna go to him for help or shelter, and he was just gonna, like, turn them away or something, but...
anyway, it didn't happen.
Yeah, but I would like to have seen them do more. Like, if they had given as much treatment, like, if you can put that much effort into Caliban, like, give me Magneto or Sabretooth, you know? But Caliban's amazing. It's so funny. I might put that on tonight when I get home, because I'm kind of like... love Logan. Then X-Men First Class is really, really fucking good.
I think it's really good.
I think that's Matthew Vaughn's best movie.
Yeah,
like, I don't
totally
think
agree.
that he's a very competent filmmaker, but I don't like a lot of his movies. But I really like First Class. January Jones is wasted as Emma Frost.
Bad. She's so cardboardy.
Don't know why she's in that movie.
Yeah.
But like the crazy opposite of her is Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw.
I think he was badass.
Dude, I could not pick Sebastian Shaw out of the X-Men lineup when I was an X-Men head, you know? He's so good in that movie. I always forget because I think of James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender and Jennifer Lawrence. Like, those 3 are stand-up performances in that movie. But Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw. And what a deep-cut villain, Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah,
who the fuck put Sebastian Shaw in an X-Men movie?
That's
like putting Black Tom Cassidy in an X-Men.
No shit. And then the best part...
He's a Deadpool too.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I
have to watch Deadpool
I can
2.
finally
Watch
it. I can finally watch it. I will watch it this weekend.
Okay.
And then fucking what a fantastic finale ending to Sebastian Shaw.
Oh, dude.
That fucking coin scene is probably one of the most satisfying villain deaths in cinema. Like, oh my god. Like,
the only cheap thing in that movie is when Professor X gets paralyzed.
Yeah.
And it's still...
I kind of still like it,
yeah,
though.
it resonates because it's Magneto who does it.
Yeah.
You know? So it kind of like further unites them, you know, in a way. But, yeah, man, the fact that he kills Sebastian Shaw the way he does with that quarter, but Charles feels the whole thing.
The whole... The transition, the shots between the coins slowly and then Professor X fucking yelling, and that whole scene is paced so well. The build up, the tension, the music is so fucking good, and then it just
it's like so like not only is he screaming because it's painful, but like he's losing his friend, right? Because I think Xavier thought Eric's just misguided. He's had a rough life, but we can change him. He doesn't want to be bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, what Eric has been telling me has been the truth the whole time.
Yeah.
You know,
he's not lying to
He's
himself.
not Eric
It's
anymore.
not,
he's Magneto.
Exactly.
You know, which is really fucking cool. And I really, the part that always gets me in the fucking feels when Xavier finds Raven at the beginning, you know, and he's like, you know, he says something along the lines of like, you don't have to go hungry. It's like, in fact, you never have to go hungry again. Or something. That's Professor X in a nutshell. He's always going to take care of the lost.
Yeah.
And the freaks. You know, he's always going to watch out for mutant kind. And it's so beautifully illustrated in that scene. And it's like a reworking of their origins. That's how it is in comics. Who gives a fuck? Right?
Yeah.
And the Wolverine cameo is pitch perfect.
Dude, the Wolverine cameo is the best thing. I think, what do they say in like PG-13 movies? You can get one fucking F-bomb or some shit.
Hard curse word. So
yeah.
Like, Scott Pilgrim, they said you cocky cock.
Yeah.
So that's why they had to blank out the fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so good. Fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourselves. And I love that, like, Charles Xavier and Eric Langster are well versed enough to know that they're not going to convince this person. Like, they're like, oh, off we go. A spot of tea?
Yeah, the looks on their face. The looks on their face.
This Yankee asshole, like, we're not going to change him because he's, like, American, but he's not. He's, like, Canadian, I think.
Yeah, that's so good. It's
anyway,
so good.
It's a really... And the design of the Magneto helmet looks...
I love it.
Shit,
I love
that's
it.
Magneto's helmet. You know? And
which is so funny because at the end they make it look a little bit more comic booky. I'm like, no. Go back to the first design. Like, I like that better. That's a really good, sleek, badass looking design. Oh, I love that.
And it's weird because like Havoc has always been one of my favorite X-Men characters, and he's in it for some reason. Alex Summers. There's a nice amount of acting, some good choices. It's a fun movie. Rose Byrne's good.
Boris the Blade's in it.
What's his name? Is that Oliver Platt? Oliver Platt's in that movie too.
Yeah,
right?
He's the CIA guy.
Yeah, he's like I don't know. It's weird that he's in it, but I like that he's in it.
Yeah.
And then Bryan Singer took that world and he made Days of Future Past, which was the first time I saw it. I really liked it, and each time I've watched it, I like it less. But there are a handful of good moments in it.
Oh wait, I did see that movie. I'm sorry, Days of Future Past. I did see it. Yeah, it was okay. I think the first time I saw it, I really liked it. I was like, holy shit, this is kind of cool. Like, the whole thing in the beginning with fucking, like, they're just constantly being hunted and it's like, everything's just fucking lost. I thought that was really cool. I just wish the Sentinels looked more...
Like Sentinels?
Like Sentinels. Like, that's the only thing that... I don't know why it's so hard. Like, what's wrong with the Sentinel design? Sentinels look fucking awesome. Like, even the fucking 90s cartoon Sentinels look better than what you were putting on the screen.
Yeah,
like,
do that MVC2 Sentinel.
Dude, if you...
Awesome.
This is why we need to get into goddamn Hollywood, because if we were making an X-Men movie, our Sentinels would look almost perfect to that. Because that's a Sentinel.
Like a Mavel Sentinel.
Oh my god.
Sentinel!
Yeah, and our Sentinels would be like rocket.
Yeah, you're like
damage.
Mission complete.
Oh my
man. Yeah, it was so badass.
Anyway,
yeah.
But yeah, like
gas flying all over, motherfucker.
that's how they killed it.
Frying pans and unblockables. Like, what is happening in this movie? Like, why did I jump out of the right side of the screen and I got unblockable in the corner?
Got him stun damage.
Right? Yeah, just like, what is going on?
Like, you said frying pans and I knew exactly what you're talking about. Wow.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Just have Yipes in the movie.
Oh, if you don't know what we're talking about, go Google it. It's fucking great. Frying pans. Oh my god. Holy shit. Anyway.
So, that movie has a lot of cool things in it, but it also, I don't know. It's something about it.
It fades off. It fades off toward the end. Like, it just kind of loses.
The Quicksilver scene is by far the best moment in that movie. Evan Peters is awesome. He's awesome in everything. But having that scene show how he moves that quickly was really fun to watch.
Yeah, it really was. It really made you go, God, I want a Flash movie. You know what I mean?
Right? It's like, God damn it, I want a Flash movie. But I can't think of anything else that was really, really cool in that movie. I mean, a bunch of X-Men die, and then a bunch of people. I like that they kind of erase some of the bad movies.
So the idea that movie was kind of a excuse to erase certain things and to like right wrongs and stuff like that was really awesome. And then they proceed to make fucking Apocalypse.
Yeah, and then Apocalypse comes out.
And I didn't... Okay, so I'm going to talk shit about Apocalypse because, again, another fucking character that I absolutely adore.
Oscar Isaac plays fucking Apocalypse.
And here's the thing. I love Oscar Isaac. I think he's a fantastic actor.
But
no. But here's the thing. As soon as I found out Oscar Isaac was Apocalypse, I was like, okay, this movie's going to suck. Not because of Oscar Isaac, just because I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you casting him as Apocalypse? What about Oscar Isaac makes you go
screams Apocalypse?
Like, that's when I was like, okay, this movie is gonna. And then
I'm not all for big CGI villains, but I kind of think I would take a CGI Apocalypse,
or just I don't even know. I don't even fucking.
I don't know what you do.
I don't know. Like, I think you have to, and not
just
CGI.
Give him the fucking lips, man. And the big A on his fucking belt buckle.
You could have made that look like a hieroglyphic, but make it in the shape of an A and be like, I know what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know, dude.
They could have done a lot.
That shit.
It's like they tried to make the worst version of Apocalypse. Like, how could we fuck this character up?
It's like, hey, did you ever see that movie Stargate? Yeah. Get those dudes who designed all that shit. I want them to make my Apocalypse. Like,
or it's like somebody was, like, they had talked to the production designer, like, costume design, and was walking down the hall and couldn't be bothered to stop because they had to take a piss or something. And they're like, hey, so what does this Apocalypse character look like? And they go, he's from Egypt. It's like, that's how much they thought. They go, okay. I guess so.
I can hear that, like, the fade out of the walking to go take a piss. He's from Egypt. What?
Like,
yeah, that... Like, what's his color? I don't know, purple.
Yeah, just... Make it up.
It's a comic book.
I have to pee. Are you not getting this? Really bad. So. Dude, I don't know what happened with Apocalypse Now.
Oh, you have to pee. What do you not get? Oh my god, that's so good. Yeah, dude, they fucking murdered that. Like,
okay, so I was in Colorado.
Hold on. We need to do a top fucking 5 or just a discussion of the worst fucking fictional characters brought to the silver screen. Like,
ooh, that's a good.
That would be
good list. Like, I would much rather they have just stayed there, like on the page.
Okay, so you were in Colorado.
But so I was in Colorado and had just seen the Logan trailer, that first Logan trailer with the Johnny Cash song, or the Johnny Cash cover of the Nine Inch Nails song.
Yeah.
And I almost wet my pants. It looks so fucking good. I've still seen the trailer a bunch of times. And so I was like, hey, let's watch X-Men Apocalypse, you know? Like, I hadn't seen it yet, and it was, like, on download or whatever. You can rent it. And so we're all sitting around like, yeah. We're all hyped for X-Men and stuff. Like, yeah, let's watch Apocalypse. And so take the beauty of the Logan trailer and then juxtapose that next to what Apocalypse is. Ugh. And, God, talk about getting the sails, like the wind taken out of your sails.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that movie's dog shit.
I will harshly judge that movie by the trailer alone because A, they didn't do anything with Oscar Isaac's voice. Like, they didn't make it sound cool whatsoever. B, he looks stupid as fuck. C, Olivia Munn is Psylocke. And I like how let's discuss something. So we're always talking about like trying to transition a character from the page to live action, right? Mm-hmm. So you couldn't do it with Sabretooth, right? You couldn't do it with Toad. You couldn't do it with Toad. You couldn't give him like a fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame look, you know, like
he just
the green gesture. You can't give the X-Men their fucking yellow and blue suits, right? Okay, I get you. Okay. Can't give Magneto his red and purple. Like, okay, I got you. Can't even give fucking Professor X like a yellow hover fucking wheelchair. But you give Psylocke an almost perfect live action replica thing of her fucking like weird 90s bathing suit.
Yeah.
What?
It looks bad.
It looks
really bad.
worse than, because I've seen cosplayers. I've seen very attractive ladies cosplay Psylocke and go, God damn, you look like a Jim Lee drawing.
Yeah.
And Olivia Munn does it. And I love Olivia Munn, not as an actress, but as a physical specimen. Like, I think she's hot. Well, she used to be hot. Now that, you know, Aaron Rodgers ain't in the picture. Fuck that bitch. No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously. Like, I always thought she was very attractive. And I was like, okay. And I think Psylocke is one of the fucking greatest designed hottie super characters ever. It's like fucking great. So I was like, okay, I can do that. And I was like, no, you look like a bad cosplayer. Like, so I just thought that was always funny. As like, so you give her an almost exact replica of the comic book look, but everyone. The only other thing, I did like the way Storm kind of looked. Like, I like where they were trying to go.
Yeah,
with
and they get the mohawk and
the mohawk and stuff. And that was about it. Everyone else I could give a fuck less about. I don't understand. Like, I always feel that there's too many shithead full of themselves designers. There's like, so we have to design this suit, but instead of taking the actual suit and making it look really cool and modern, it's like, no, we wanted to redesign it. We wanted to. What would it be like if we gave him a motorcycle outfit? Like, that's what like. Stop it! You're not gonna make your name off of this. Just give me a good suit.
It's something I want to go back to for Days of Future Past. There are 3 moments that I think that I really enjoy from that movie. And one is that movie gives us a scene where Magneto is floating in the air menacingly, surrounded by Sentinels. That's like an X-Men scene, right?
Yeah.
Then he like slips metal into them to control them. It's such a weird, like, how he controls the Sentinel. But the Sentinel, like, turns on him and he just decimates it with hand gestures. It looks so fucking cool. It's like, that's a Magneto moment.
Yeah.
And then there's a real tender scene in the airplane where Logan is talking to Charles and he's like, Scott, Jean, Storm, remember those names. You find us in the future. You bring X-Men together. And, you know, like, you can change this. You make the world a better place. And Xavier says, well, I'll do my best. And Logan says, your best is enough. And it's so, like, God, it really gets me. These two, and then when you put that next to, like, Logan, like, what these men have been through together, these two people, it's like father and son. And to just tell someone, like, so often we're like, we'll try my best, but, you know, your best is never good enough. To have confirmation that your best is enough, but do your best. Yeah. Because the world needs you. You know, our species needs you. Our race needs you. It's so good. But, fuck Brian Singer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the X-Men movies, Dark Phoenix looks fucking terrible. Each movie since First Class, Mystique's makeup has gotten worse and worse and worse.
Dude,
and worse.
like, they were saying, what was it in the fucking, this last one? They were like, they're not even trying anymore. Like, she's in, like, a turtleneck. She's probably like, I don't want to fuck, I'm not putting that shit on.
Blue on me.
Yeah, like, even her face, it just looks like blue paint.
Or maybe they're just like, she's like, under contract to be in those movies, and they don't want to pay her more. So she's like, this is as much as you guys are paying me. Do you know what I mean? Like, instead of, like, being a diva, she's like, I'm not going to work that hard for you guys who are paying me less, you know, than James McAvoy or whatever. Fuck all that.
Yeah, it's like, no.
But it looks terrible.
It looks awful. Like,
I wonder if maybe they're just gonna CG the rest of her skin. I don't know. Dark Phoenix looks awful.
It does.
It's really, really awful.
I will be.
And I'm tired of these X-Men movies trying to do fucking Dark Phoenix without earning it. Like,
we
need to care about these characters before you need to care about who Jean Grey is.
You can't just shove it in. You gotta get it wet.
Yeah. What?
No, that's not how that. Like a gentleman. Don't you dare cut that out.
That's chopped out.
That's Patreon shit right there. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Like, a lot of these movies want the big payday, the big fucking, like, bam in your face, and they don't earn them. And Dark Phoenix is something that you could have seriously earned. That could have,
and they've wasted it twice.
They've
done it twice.
2 big ones twice. It's like, okay, so you wasted Dark Phoenix twice, when there are so many other really good X-Men arcs that you could fucking cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even really get into the whole Sentinels hunting fucking X-Men. Like,
yeah,
you haven't even gotten into all that.
Just like how awesome the Dark Phoenix saga is, you can do that over a span of movies.
I got you. You ready? That's what Marvel's gonna do. After listen, hold on.
No, Marvel's gonna do whatever they do is gonna be great.
No, I know, but after Endgame, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? It's like, well, we're gonna let the Avenger characters chill out, and we're gonna reintroduce. We're gonna bring in the X-Men. You know, we're gonna really build it up, and then in the next 10 years, just like we did with Infinity Gauntlet and Endgame, is going to be X-Men movie and tie-ins and build up till we get to Dark Phoenix, and that's going to fucking be
like
their
Avengers
Endgame. That would be fun.
You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to defeat Thanos in Endgame? The Phoenix Force.
Maestro?
So,
no.
Gladiator. I'd love to see Gladiator. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Dude, that would be cool.
Anyway.
Stop it. Okay.
So, yeah, the X-Men movies are, I think, net negative. I don't think they're very good.
Yeah.
Deadpool, I don't think there's anything that we could say about Deadpool that hasn't been said. I cannot believe that Deadpool 1 exists. Mm-hmm. And I think without Deadpool, we don't get Joker.
Yeah,
I agree. We don't get some of the kind of magnificent chances. We don't get Logan without Deadpool, And
real quick, we've talked about this on a personal level, but for the podcast, we have to touch this. Not only was Logan a fucking amazing movie, a work of art, but how fucking amazing was that last and final scene with where they bury him?
Oh god!
And they have the cross, and she turns it over, and it's a fucking X. I almost cried.
I did cry.
Like, my eyes got really watery, but I refused to let a tear drop. But that scene, literally makes up for all the bad X-Men movies you've ever made. That one scene
is better than all the X-Men movies combined.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
when the camera starts pulling in, I was sitting there trying to keep my shit together, right? When Laura stops, I was like, I know exactly what she's gonna do, and I just fell fucking apart, dude. She turns around and she grabs the cross, and like you could hear a pin drop in my theater that I went to see it in, but all you heard was people going, like there was so many people sniffling and like crying at the end of that movie. It was so good. It was
did I even see that in theaters?
Did you see it? I went with RJ.
I have no idea. I don't think I did.
We were just fucking sobbing. Everybody was crying.
I think I saw that like on fucking Blu-ray or something. I don't remember how I saw it, but I remember when she stopped, I went, no, and I remember saying that loud. So maybe I didn't watch it in theater. And she turned it over, and I was like, oh! I mean, it hit me in the field. It still gives me chills. Dude, like, it's so good.
There's the two scenes that make me break. Like, there's so many scenes in that movie where I like my lips quivering. Mm-hmm. But the two that always make me break is that scene, and then after Logan buries Xavier, and he says, "There's water," and then Laura like grabs his hand, and he tries to say it again. He's like, "There's water," and his voice cracks. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I get all misty just thinking about it. Because that's all Charles wanted. He got to bury him by water. That's it. That's what he get. He like let his dad down.
Yeah. Okay, so that's two. The third one that fucks me up, that I get that weird. I don't get the lip quiver, but I get that weird, like, not butterfly, but that feeling.
It's the opposite of butterfly, which means you're gonna cry instead of falling in love.
Yeah. Is when Professor X is talking to quote unquote Logan in the bed right before he gets fucking dusted. Like, oh my god, that whole scene, because it didn't click to me what was about to happen. Mm-hmm. It did not. I thought that was fucking Logan,
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is an awesome moment, between like a father and son. Mm-hmm. And then when you fucking see it happen, dude, it punched me in the gut, and I remember going, and I thought it was a nightmare. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like he's having a nightmare that Wolverine was gonna kill him, like, because he's an animal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and then when it was like, it's not a nightmare. This is really happening. That whole scene, all the way even till the fight and like fucking barely getting out with their lives. Mm-hmm. I don't even think I remember breathing. Yeah, in that whole thing.
Dude, there's so many good moments in that movie. Like, there's a scene where Wolverine gets Laura to the meeting place, right? And he's having a nightmare, and like he starts like shaking in bed, mm-hmm. and he starts snarling. He's not like he's not screaming, he's not grunting, he's snarling like the animal that he is actually inside. And it wakes him up. That shit always gets to me. And then Laura's like, "You have a bad dream?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So do I." It's like, "People hurt me," and he's like, "Mine are different. I hurt people," and that's what haunts Logan and his life. It's like he's a murder machine, you know, and he's just like so covered in blood that he can't change it. You know, this is like his only chance to change it. And he lost his dad. He lost everybody. And then there's like that when Caliban goes into the thing at the beginning just before Logan leaves, and he goes, "Look what Logan brought us, Charles." Like when you talk to an old ailing, you know, like relative. Yeah. It's so
there's
it's like,
oh
god, that movie, that fucking movie, man, it's so good.
In the podcast,
it's turned into a Logan podcast. So so X-Men movies.
Logan makes up for all of them.
Logan makes up for them. Deadpool are fantastic.
Yes,
I think Deadpool's hilarious.
Still haven't seen the second one. I will watch
super
that this
sweaty.
weekend.
Domino steals the show. I think they did a bad job with Cable, but I'm a big Cable fan. Same reason why I didn't like the first Captain America movie, just because I love the character so much. Really high standards, and I don't like this bro-y version of Cable. Yeah. I'd rather there be a soldier version of Cable.
Yeah.
And then like what Rob Liefeld did was basically he made Nick Fury for the X-Men. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Cable's an old man who, you know, puts his team together to get him going. But I think the only thing we haven't really covered is the Fantastic Four movies. Which the Roger Corman one doesn't really count. Anyone can go find it. It was terrible.
Yeah, no, let's talk about the two Fantastic...
The two Story...
Technically the three, but let's go with the...
I didn't even think about the Josh Trank one.
Yeah, so let's talk about the first two Fantastic Four movies, because I've seen both of them, and... Yes. So, okay, the first one...
It was like the FX production of Fantastic Four. We had talked about this.
It really was, yes, it really was.
You were a fan of Nip Tuck for a little while.
Yes.
And I was a fan of the Fantastic Four for a while.
Yes.
And we kind of like tried to meet in the middle. Because like Michael Chiklis is in it too. It's like the Shield and Nip Tuck. And,
it's just... I don't know what... I mean, I guess in the spirit of the Fantastic Four... Well, I can't even say that. Not even in the spirit of it. I feel like... Someone who never read a Fantastic Four story, but someone was telling them about it, made a very good movie. Like, in that regards, like, oh, this is what the Fantastic Four are about. That guy who had to go pee, he's like, what's the Fantastic Four? One's rubber, one's fire, one's invisible, one's rock. I gotta pee. You like, go do it.
Still peeing.
You're asking the question while he's peeing.
That's all you get. Like, cosmic rays.
Cosmic rays.
I'm in the middle of a thing. Right?
I don't even know when I didn't hate that movie, but I knew I didn't like it, but I couldn't figure out why I didn't like it. Yeah. And I knew one of my biggest things where I was like, oh god, this movie is fucking stupid. I don't know why it's such a small, simple thing, but like the Victor Von Doom statue made of metal and shit, like rivets, you know, in the front of the like, it was so fucking bad. I really wanted to like that movie because I remember and then the trailer was like, "Let's not fight, no, let's." I was like, "Yeah, let's do this, Fantastic Four." I was like, ugh.
And I've always loved Chris Evans. So seeing him as Johnny Storm,
thing can stop you.
Yeah, no thing. Oh god! And they tried really hard to like, Victor uses his brain to decimate the Fantastic Four. But
did you ever watch the old, like super old, like I think it was Hanna-Barbera, those Fantastic Four cartoons? Like
I've seen them,
really fucking old ones. I remember there was one in between, like fucking Goldar and shit, where it was like Victor Von Doom has captured the Fantastic Four, and he put like he put Mr. Fantastic in a freezer because the rubber will break, and then he put the Human Torch in this like machine that basically his own fire would burn out the oxygen and he would suffocate, and like he did all these things, like he put the thing in this pressurized system that it would crack the rocks eventually and, you know, break them. And then I don't remember what he did with Sue, but that's what it felt like. I felt like I was watching that. I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah, there's a period where I really liked watching that movie, the first one, just because it was one of those comfort movies.
Where are your ears?
Perfect. Like I had a handful of DVDs that I wasn't working, so I just would like watch movies all the time. And just watch that one. It just ended up being like a comfort film for me. But it's really bad. Yeah. You know, I don't like the Thing costume. Like I like Michael Chiklis a lot. Yeah. You know, But
that weird.
And I like Chris Evans a lot, you know. But,
and I didn't really know who Chris Evans was yet. Like, I don't think I had seen him really in anything that prominent.
It's because I had liked Not Another Teen Movie a bunch, so I knew
and
who
see,
he
and
was.
I had never seen it, so I was like, "Who's this Chris Evans guy?" But I liked him as Johnny Storm from what I.
And I like Cellular, so
yeah,
I had seen him in a couple of things.
That's like literally the only thing I liked about it was Chris Evans, and of course I liked looking at Jessica Alba. But as soon as I found out that Jessica Alba was Sue Storm, I was like, "That's weird."
Kind of a weird choice. Not so much that like picking Jessica Alba isn't necessarily weird, but what they did to her in the second movie, where they gave her like blue-eye contacts and like she had like blonde wig on or something.
Yeah, that was really
like you cast a person of color to be Sue Storm. Just lean into it. You know, don't try and like white her up. I don't know. It was really weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was almost like blackface. It was like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it was kind of awkward.
Kind of weird. Difficult to watch.
Yeah.
It really was. The stories weren't very interesting. You know, I don't like how when they get hit by the cosmic rays, they all kind of like the spark of what's going to happen to them.
That was
I don't know.
really
It was
lame.
kind of dumb.
That was really lame.
The only thing that seemed genuine was Johnny and Ben.
Yeah.
Their relationship, that they felt like they had been friends for too long and they just kind of rubbed each other the wrong way.
How bad was that scene with the fucking thing and his wife on the bridge? Like, I'm gonna leave my ring.
Oh yeah,
that was so bad.
Isn't that Andrea from Walking Dead? Is that?
Oh, I have no idea.
Anyway, I knew her face from somewhere. I think that is her. I think she's on The Walking Dead.
No shit.
Anyway,
oh, okay.
But yeah, and he can't like pick up the ring because his fingers are all big.
Yeah.
It's like dumb.
God, that was so bad. Like, there's no need for dialogue. There's no need for development of character. Like, just don't. Just don't. I can't.
How do you love someone so much that you're going to marry them for that sign of trouble to happen? This happens in the span of like a day and a half, and she's like, "Peace, I'm done."
I am out, freak.
Like, yeah, forget that his best friend is like the smartest dude on the planet. Like, oh, don't worry about it, baby. Reed can figure this out.
Yeah.
You know?
If anyone can figure it out.
Fucking
which he technically did.
And he does, yeah. Anyway.
God damn it. It's fucking awful. And I love how like the fucking blind chick falls in love with them.
Yeah, that's in the comics though.
I don't care. It's with the way they make it. The way they did it. Like it was so, again, not earning it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
it
like
just kind of happens.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that happens in the comic, right? Just throw it in there. Yeah, it's fine. Like,
I just feel like at the end he has like size 26E Nikes on or something, you know?
Oh yeah, so
like that one was like kind of gratuitous with the product placement. There's like that, and then in the second one, the Fantastic Car has a Hemi. And
God.
Does it have a Hemi? And he's like, you know it. It's so fucking dumb. This movie's just. Ugh.
And that's okay. I don't even think we need to say any more about the first one, but that second one was fucking way worse.
Oh, it was really bad.
It was
really, really bad.
What they did to Galactus?
And that was kind of taking from the Ultimates version of Galactus.
Yeah,
Warren Ellis but they didn't even pull that off, right?
Yeah, they didn't pull it off at all. Like,
and the Silver Surfer looks kind of cool. Like, the way his body shimmers, looks cool.
I didn't dig, which you would think would have been a home run. I didn't dig that it was Lauren Fishburne's voice. It didn't fit right. I don't know. There's something about it. It
seemed like it was obviously not coming from him.
Yes, you know what I mean? Yes. Like you should have probably made maybe Silver Surfer look a little more like Lauren Fishburne, so the matched up the voice. Maybe I don't know, but it definitely didn't sound anywhere near. Like I think you pull that off in a cartoon, like Lauren Fishburne is a Silver Surfer, but live action, it really didn't sound like
much,
like anything. Yeah, maybe you add like an echo to it, make him sound a little more celestial or something. Like anything else, but. The thing, like Ben and Johnny kind of like trading powers. Yeah,
who is it? Is it Johnny that has like his molecules get all fucked up so he can like absorb powers from people he touches?
Yes.
Or no, they all do. I think they touch each other. Because I remember like Ben touches Johnny and he gets normal. He gets the firepower.
Yeah.
And then Johnny looks like the Thing.
Yeah.
And like, oh come on.
yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Oh my god.
What a wonderful movie.
That was.
Yeah, the other four movies are not great, and then the Josh Trank one was just.
I didn't even want to watch it.
It was god awful, and not like. This is a poor representation of the Fantastic Four, which it was, but this is just a very, very bad movie, and I think a lot of things got. I mean, you can find any number of videos or essays about what happened to Josh Trank's Fantastic Four.
I've been wanting to actually listen to stuff like that because I don't know any of that story. All I know is there was a lot of fucking drama.
You know what's awesome?
What?
Is it so when Kevin Smith was doing Fat Man on Batman,
Mm-hmm.
he was going to do a Fantastic Four-parter with Josh Trank, and 3 parts came out because after the 3rd part aired, the movie dropped. So he's going to release the 4th part of the interview when that came out, and then everything happened and exploded, and they never had that 4th part.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but
Jesus.
I would be interested to know what that movie was supposed to be before whatever happened.
Yeah.
It's terrible though. Whatever's left of that Fantastic Four movie, if you watch it, it's really, really, really bad.
The casting choices were the things that bothered me the most, and
It's
I'm not
odd.
even talking about Michael B. Jordan as Johnny, which is totally fine with me.
Johnny Kebbell as Victor Von Doom?
That was awful, and again, Sue Storm. How do you not know how to cast this lady? Like, or this even young Sue? That chick. I don't think she's that good of an actress, and I also don't really like the way she looks. She doesn't look like a Sue Storm. She just doesn't. I'm sorry.
I think they got to play Ben Grimm too.
Oh yeah, there was nothing Ben Grimm about him.
Yeah,
and I get it. It's fiction, and I don't know. You can leave stuff to your imagination, but
which is funny because that actor and Chris Evans are both in Snowpiercer.
Yes, they are,
So,
and he's
so
awesome in
good in
Snowpiercer.
that.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's good in everything.
Yeah, just not Fantastic
Fantastic
Four. I like Miles Teller, but I didn't really see him as.
He doesn't look like Reed at all.
Even his acting, I was like, what is it?
You even put him in the suit, and you go, what superhero is that supposed to be? I don't know, the Stilt Man. Who is that? I don't know.
The Stilt Man.
There's nothing about him that screams Reed Richards.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear glasses. Like the ultimate version of Reed wears glasses. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. That was rough. I hope proper MCU brings the first family back home.
Yeah, I'm so excited for what Marvel can do now. I think it's really a bad look for Hollywood and creative people and filmmakers for Disney to own something like 30% of the entertainment field, or 30% of the movies that get made. I think it's a bad look. But the big comic sweaty in me is happy that all the toys are together. It's like now we can have X-Men and Fantastic Four in the MCU, so we're gonna have the backing and the creative chains are off and stuff like that. I'm really excited to see the X-Men. I think Kevin Feige said that he was gonna run the X-Men division of films. And I was like, oh shit, yeah,
let's go.
Ready for that.
The only way that news gets any better is and I think I'm gonna have Jason Aaron come in and help me write some stuff.
Write the scripts.
Yeah, he's gonna help me write X-Men Origins Wolverine
Redux.
again. But no, I as much as it does bother me to know that Disney's fucking pretty much has dictatorship over all that, I totally agree with you. I love the idea that in a perfect world, and I know there's already a plan set, it'd be awesome for Endgame to end all of that and for Disney just to have okay, now that we have these, we're going to start a whole nother fucking series, but it will be the X-Men and Fantastic Four peppered in with Avengers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a small part of me that cannot wait to see Endgame for the chance of something to hint. Like an end credit stinger or something to be like a rocket flying back from outer space. Or,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or for someone to detect the mutant X gene for the first time or something. You know what I mean? I'm so excited for this. And I think the next 10 years of MCU will be the Fantastic Four and X-Men.
Yeah, and then
And
under
you
the
have-
MCU umbrella makes me so happy. Like, a
'cause
lot of
you
people say
can-
like comic book fatigue. No, it's more Avenger fatigue. You bring me proper MCU, X-Men, and Fantastic Four, I'm back.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
back. I never left.
And that's those characters and those stories are so rich that you easily can get 10 years of great films.
Check this out. You ready for this? Could you imagine the
And Black Panther's
possibility?
already part of it.
Could you imagine the possibility of seeing Wolverine on screen with Spider-Man? That would be fucking
That would be
epic.
great.
Like, as much as I want to see, I would even want to see a Hugh Jackman reprisal.
Okay,
of
one
Wolverine.
scene. You can have one scene. 2 characters can meet. Put them all together. Who'd you do?
Captain Wolverine.
Captain Wolverine?
I want to see Captain Wolverine. That's the one I want. I want to see that.
That has to happen.
That has to happen. I want to see Chris Evans, Hugh Jackman. That's what I want to see. That would be fucking so awesome, because now after really watching Logan, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's done really well with Wolverine for what he's had to work with. But watching Logan is like, that is my Wolverine. That is the perfect Wolverine now. So that Wolverine, or that potential Wolverine, with the fucking epitome of Captain America, Chris Evans, I want to see that.
That'd be pretty great.
God damn.
I think I would like to see Tony Stark and Reed Richards sit and talk to each other.
You fucking brainy
so
guy.
Fucking awesome.
You're so awesome.
He's so great, man.
That
It's
would
a
be really
great
cool.
version of Reed, just kind of like,
because that little moment in, was it the first Avengers where Bruce and Tony are talking, and it's
like
that
the
one
like, someone who
good part.
speaks English, you know. And
That was a really awesome part, and the only time I ever really kind of went, "Hey, Bruce Banner," like, "Hi, you must be
it'd be
Bruce
really
Banner."
cool to see, like, let's say some way that like Reed is in, like, he comes back, right? And the pervasive rumor on the internet is that if they were going to do Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four has been in outer space since the 60s. They got caught in a wormhole, so the negative zone, they come to Earth, right? And they're like, oh, this is the modern MCU, but they're still from the 60s. So they're like out of water and that kind of shit, right?
That'd be cool. I'd watch
so
that.
you have Reed sit and he talks with Tony. And Tony's on his way out. Let's say he's retiring or whatever. You know, chances are, I would, gun to my head, you know, Tony's probably going to die. But if he didn't, who knows? But let's say that Tony is on his way out of the hero game and Reed is just starting. And they're going to sit down and exchange notes. And it's just Tony feeling like, this is what the internet is. This is what quantum theory is. This is what this, you know, all these different, here's this element I discovered that my dad helped me with, you know. This is what the Winter Soldier is and Hydra and all this shit. It'd just be this information dump. And Reed would be the one that would be able to retain it all. He's like, I'm giving you everything I can. Jarvis is now Vision and he's kind of corrupt. That's not my living log. And Friday doesn't count because she doesn't have the bandwidth for my history.
Yeah.
But you can. And so as they're talking, Reed's head's kind of like elongating. And he's just retaining information. And so by the end of it, he kind of like gets back to regular. But that's him like, okay, now you're caught up. Now get to fucking work and solve everything. And then that's how it ends. It's like, so
that would be
fucking
the sweatiest, coolest.
Right, that would be like the
I've
sweatiest
ever...
fucking version of Endgame for me ever. I would love to see that.
Wow, Jesus Christ. That's better than anything I thought of. Holy shit. The only thing I was thinking of is like, how would you bring that? It's like, again, not knowing anything about Endgame, let's say through, you know, the fucking quantum realm and through the time travel or through whatever, they're somehow able to reunite everybody. They're not necessarily bringing them back, but maybe they're pulling them from different realities. You know, different realities, so you're kind of reintroducing the idea of the multiverse, but you're pulling characters that know each other, but it's like, it's kind of like the Rick and Morty thing. It's like, I know you, but you're not mine. You know what I mean? Like, you're not my version. Because there's that scene, which could be fake, but where Cap and Tony are with each other in that Endgame. Oh, you don't know?
Don't know.
Oh. Well, God damn it, you're messing up my thing. Well, anyways, my point is, it'd be really interesting. It's like, with the Infinity Gauntlet, somehow, some way, maybe someone else gets a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet and tries to snap everything back to normal. Mm-hmm. But in snapping it back to normal, they cross fucking multiverses, and now histories of like the Fox fucking Fantastic Four and the X-Men, not necessarily those things, but
they're their
mutants are now a thing, and they've maybe been a thing or whatever. Basically, the way I was thinking about it is just give me X-Men and the Avengers. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how to get there. But no, I was thinking,
and it's
like,
funny because like there are other universes in the multiverse of Marvel that they all have their own Infinity Gauntlets, but none of them work in any other reality, which I think is really cool. I think that's a great hindrance that they could introduce. Like, oh yeah, that universe's Reed Richards has an Infinity Gauntlet, and that universe's Wolverine has an Infinity Gauntlet. But if they brought him to this universe, it doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their gems don't work or their stones don't work. So I thought it was a great way to kind of like circumvent it in other universes.
That's actually really cool.
But this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so who knows? You know, they do whatever they want.
I just think it'd been interesting to like, I guess it's just that whole, I want to see Chris Evans and Hugh Jackman fucking be on the same screen. Like, it would be cool if somehow when this fucking final war breaks out, like, they were able to open different realities. And so you have like, maybe at the very end, you have these guys who thought they were dead, like, coming out of these wormholes, like Black Panther and fucking Strange. Everyone's just fucking rushing out, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the fucking X-Men come out and fucking Hugh
As if they were already there.
Yeah, like, they've just been there, and you're like, wait, what? And just throw everybody for a fucking loop. Like, what the fuck is going on, you know?
What they should do, like, just it would have been awesome if, like, at Endgame, you know, like the post-credit scene, is just an interaction where it's every single character from the MCU and X-Men, Fantastic Four universe, they're just all together for a minute and a half of screen time or something like that. You know what I mean? Most expensive minute ever, but they'll make all that back on opening day sales.
Yeah, no shit.
It's just like everybody sitting around a huge table just talking or whatever. That would be just awesome. It's so cool.
Remember those like fucking big splash pages in the comics where you'd have like a scene where everyone's like discussing something and it's like 40 heads all across the thing and they just have all these cool poses.
And X-Men was notorious for like getting the bands together for like the group photo.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always imagined that because they're mutants, their community is small and tight knit. But there's like, okay guys, it's our annual, like we're gonna take a picture with everybody. So X Factor, X Force, Excalibur, get your asses to Westchester. Everybody ready? On three. Nightcrawler, get it? You know?
Oh my god!
And everyone is like standing all badass, you know, and just do something like that.
My favorite one is the one where fucking Strong Guy is fucking like I think he has Jubilee on his arm or some shit.
There's one where Colossus is doing that at a pool and Jubilee's next to him and she's making this.
Okay, there's another one with Strong Guy and he has it, but someone's on his bicep. Like
I think maybe that's Polaris. She might be on.
Oh, that green hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay,
yeah.
that was Polaris. Always my favorite shot. Just give me a big strong dude with a chick on his arm or right like hanging onto it. And it's
like those X-Men books who had those big splash pages where they're all like swimming together or whatever, you know. But there's like character stuff, you know, like Beast is jumping in the pool and he has like a fucking
the rubber ducky,
yeah. But Iceman is like making the
I remember.
like
I know exactly what you're talking
Wolverine,
about.
Like, has a beer and like jean shorts, the cutoffs, you know.
He did have
the top buttons unbuckled.
Like he is a fucking happy trout.
Yeah, exactly. Canadian Outback. Alright, it's getting late, guys.
Oh my god.
That, I think, is our thoughts on every movie of these characters that's not Marvel. We didn't even talk about Spider-Man.
No, we didn't.
We can touch on Spider-Man when we get to our next review.
Yeah.
It's kind of late. But would you like to take us out?
Absolutely. So, as always, the best way to reach us is at EOTI_podcast, and that is our Twitter, or you can find us on Gmail at endoftheinternetpod@gmail.com. Again, as always, shoot us a message, send us a comment. You know, what do you think about the prior MCU stuff? You know, what were your favorite movies? What did you think about Blade? Did you like Fantastic Four? And who out there likes Fantastic Four? I need to know that. But shoot us a message. I would love to see that. Hit a comment or something.
I'd really be interested to see if somebody really likes the Josh Trank version of Fantastic Four, or, you know, these movies that we just really kind of shit on. Like maybe they're somebody's favorite. You know, someone who saw it when they're like 5 or 6 and sparked their imagination and just always stayed with them.
There's someone out there that probably loves Daredevil. Like, there's like, dude, fuck you, Matt. Ben Affleck is Daredevil.
He is Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. Always like, subscribe, comment, just engage. We kind of like to know what's going on, and we're all getting really sweaty and really excited for Endgame. It's right around the fucking corner.
What are your Endgame theories?
Dude,
what do you think is gonna happen?
I do not even want to get into theories. Like, I would just want like wish list. I don't want theories.
Oh,
because
okay.
if I start to dissect it too much, if I get one, I could take like 1,000 shots, and if I get one right, I'm gonna ruin it for myself, and I don't want to. And not even that I could get one right, but there's, you know, like you had said before, like the collective hive mind of the internet. It's like, yeah, there could be 4 writers trying to outwit us all. But you can't
the hive mind of the internet.
Yeah, the 200,000 of us that are thinking and cracking and crunching these numbers. We'll figure it out. That's like, I think Jeff Loeb had said about, like, you can't start to tell a mystery story in a comic book without cheating, because like you can't beat the collective. You know, like the fans, there's too many of them. You know, they're together will outsmart anybody. You know,
that's
and
true.
I thought that was really cool. I think it was him,
that's actually really
Greg
badass.
Rucka or Jeff Loeb. One of the two said that about like writing a mystery in a comic, or whodunit. But anyway, for the End of the Internet podcast, my name is Gonzalo.
I am Marcus.
This is the End of the Internet, and you have reached the end of the episode. Have a good night, guys.
Peace.